Chapter 89. Bang! Bang! In the Eastern Cloud Empire's Prince Long Quan's courtyard, the sound of things being smashed could be heard. Cho Tsing-hui, I will tear you into pieces. In the room, Baiyu's angry voice could be heard. The whole courtyard was filled with white lanterns and white sails. The hall was filled with cold air. Even now, the morning hall was still cold. In the middle of the hall was an ice coffin. Long Quan's body was sealed in ice, looking very lifelike. At the side of the ice coffin, Baiyu's face was distorted. Zhuo Qingshu summoned such a powerful spirit-refining cultivator. Even Situ Qiushui and the others were killed by them. It won't be easy to kill him again. Moreover, I heard that when Zhuo Qingshu killed the five-colored Dragon King, he used a flying sword. It can be seen that he has at least a flying sword on him. In this case, it will be even more difficult to kill him. Unless there is a spirit and chi unification level expert of longevity stage 4, otherwise, we won't be able to do anything to him. Otherwise, we won't be able to kill him, Scarlet Flame Deity Tsang Shui said coldly. No matter what, I want him dead. Even if I give up everything I have, it won't be an exception. Baiyu clenched her teeth. Her eyes were bloodshot. According to the information I've received, Cho Tsing-hui doesn't care about the other members of the Zhuo family. This can be seen from the fact that he did not hesitate to kill the younger generation of the Zhuo family a year ago. Using the Zhuo family as a threat is meaningless. Instead, it will only arouse Nailin Fei's desire to fight to the death. Once she throws everything aside and wants to kill you, we might not be able to stop her. Tsang Shui shook her head. In fact, it was not that they might not be able to stop her, but they did not dare to stop her. Nailin Fei dared to kill them, but they did not. Is there no other way? I've even taken out the rank 4 divine weapon that the Peak Lord gave me as a reward. Am I really unable to do anything to that bastard who killed my brother? There is a way. At this time, Zhang Zhouxiao, who was also in the hall, suddenly spoke. He stared at Baiyu with sparkling eyes. It depends on whether you are willing to take the risk. Baiyu's eyes widened in shock, and a ferocious expression appeared on her face. What method? Speak. As long as I can avenge my brother and kill that little bastard, I won't hesitate to go bankrupt. Zhang Zhouxiao glanced at the others in the hall. You guys go down. When most of the people in the hall had left, he said slowly, by chance, I got to know the master of the Dragon Whale Island. Dragon Whale Island? The Dragon Whale Island Lord ranked 633rd on the Overseas Divine Dragon ranking. Not bad. The Divine Dragon list is a list compiled by the Divine Dragon Pavilion for the overseas forces. There are a total of 1,000 people on the list. More than 80% of those on the list are immortal stage 4 giants of the spirit and chi uniting realm. That Dragon Whale Island Lord, the Dragon Whale Island Lord had already stepped into the realm of spirit and chi unification more than 80 years ago. Good. 9 firmaments, you were able to get the Dragon Whale Island Master to take action. Although I've met the Dragon Whale Island Lord once, I don't have enough face for him to take the risk of going to the mainland to help me. Zhang Zhouxiao said. As Zhang Zhouxiao spoke, he saw that Baiyu's expression had turned rather ugly. He hurriedly added, however, the Dragon Whale Island Lord would hold a treasure presentation ceremony on his island every 10 years. All the forces under his jurisdiction would have to offer up their treasures. If anyone's treasure is the best, they would be able to make a request of him. You mean, if I can offer a treasure that satisfies him, he can help me kill Cho Tsing-hui once. Although Cho Tsing-hui has a peak spirit refining realm guard by his side, if the Dragon Whale Island Lord is willing to take action, killing him won't be a difficult matter. It's just that going deep into the mainland will be a little dangerous. Good. Baiyu said without hesitation, I'm willing to offer my rank 4 divine weapon to the Dragon Whale Island Lord and ask him to take action, even if it means colluding with overseas forces, I won't hesitate. Zhang Zhouxiao shook his head. Miss, you've misunderstood me. The Dragon Whale Island Lord may not take such a huge risk for a mere low-grade rank 4 divine weapon. The generous gift I'm talking about is something else. From what I know, the Dragon Whale Island Lord's grandson has been tested to have incomparably high talent. The Dragon Whale Island Lord has put in a lot of effort to nurture him, but the cultivation methods of overseas rogue cultivators are limited. No matter how good one's talent is, without a corresponding cultivation method, it's a waste. Miss is highly regarded by the Sky Origin Peak Master and had the fortune of reading the Black Hole Sutra Awakening Method, right? Although you've only read it and it's definitely not complete, if Miss is willing to offer the Black Hole Sutra Awakening Method to the Dragon Whale Island Lord. Shut up. Before Zhang Jiuxiao could finish his words, Bai Yu had already interrupted him. That's our Hunyuan Heavenly Sect's supreme cultivation method. If people find out that I was the one who spread it out, even if I escape to the ends of the earth, only death will await me. Zhang Jiuxiao shook his head. Tsing Hui has a peak spirit refining expert by his side, and we're unable to recruit more spirit refining experts in a short period of time. Then there's no other way. The Dragon Whale Island Lord will present his treasure in 3 months. Miss, do you want to use this method or not? Please give me a reply within 3 months. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that Bai Yu's side had been calm for 3 whole days, Tsing Hui and Yan Huang did not stay any longer. They returned the Soaring Sky Sword and bid farewell to Naylan Fei before boarding the Dragon Cry Island's warship that had just been repaired and headed overseas. Although Naylan Fei also had a warship, it was purchased by the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect. On the other hand, the warships of the 10 Holy Lands were equivalent to live targets if they rashly entered the sea. It would already be a miracle if they could travel 10,000 li without being shot down. The warship's speed in the void was extremely fast. It could travel 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers in a day. In addition, the Lorraine Kingdom was close to the sea. After traveling for half a day, a vast sea appeared in front of them. At a glance, it was boundless, with no end in sight. I wonder how vast this sea is. Qing Su said sincerely as he stood on the deck and looked at the glistening surface of the sea below. Compared to Earth, this continent's area was too large. It was so large that it almost subverted the 3 views he had established on Earth. In fact, 1,000 li offshore, strictly speaking, can't be considered as an overseas sphere of influence. The island lords and forces that live in this area more or less have some connection with the mainland. After 1,000 li from the mainland, it is truly overseas. Moreover, the further you go, the more dangerous it is, and the more chaotic the order is. Yan Huang introduced from the side. How far is Colored Glass Island from the Lorraine Kingdom? Although Colored Glass Island belongs to the overseas sphere of influence, that's because I lived on that island since I was young. In fact, our Colored Glass Island has no conflict with the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect. It's just that our ancestor offended a true disciple of the Create-Evolve mystical sect 1,000 years ago and had no choice but to flee here. The Create-Evolve mystical sect was the #1 sect in the Eastern Wilderness. It dominated the world and ruled the Eastern Wilderness. The entire Eastern Wilderness was covered by the Create-Evolve mystical sect's subordinate forces. It could be said that apart from the Wuji Sword Sect, the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect, the Qiankuan Sacred Land, the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons, and the Xinshao Sword Sect, the Create-Evolve mystical sect could easily destroy any force, including the Jin Wu religion, the Pharaoh Sect, the Green Lotus Sword Sect, and the Giant Dragon Mountain Range. Not defeat, but destroy. From this, one could see how powerful the Create-Evolve mystical sect was. The Wuji Sword Sect and the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect had formed an alliance, while the Qiankuan Sacred Land, the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons, and the Xinshao Sword Sect had formed an alliance. The 2 alliances had to maintain a strategic unity to slightly balance the arrogance of the Create-Evolve mystical sect. It was precisely because of the Create-Evolve mystical sect's domineering strength that countless forces had to flee overseas. This caused more than 60% of the overseas forces to have enmity with the Create-Evolve mystical sect. The Create-Evolve mystical sect's disciples shouldn't dare to rashly go overseas, right? Don't dare. Yan Huang smiled bitterly. Young master, you're underestimating the tyranny of the Create-Evolve mystical sect. The Hunyuan Heavenly Sect and the Wuji Sword Sect's territories are slightly better, but the Create Evolve Mystical Sect has already occupied the territories of the Qiankuan Sacred Land, the Xinshao Sword Sect, the Pharaoh Sect, and the Green Lotus Sword Sect. The Create Evolve Mystical Sect used the slogan of annihilating the overseas forces to build countless gates of creation of various sizes in the territories under their jurisdiction. Each gate of creation is a large-scale formation. As long as it's controlled by a spirit refining expert, it can withstand the attack of a spirit chi unity expert. It's said that the Create Evolve Mystical Sect's territory has a radius of 30,000 kilometers, and there are no less than 10,000 gates of creation of various sizes. A radius of 30,000 kilometers. More than 10,000 gates of creation. Yan Huang nodded and smiled bitterly. That's right. In fact, if it weren't for the Wuji Sword Sect, the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect, the Qiankuan Sacred Land, the Six Paths of Divinity and Demons, and the Xinshao Sword Sect Sage Experts, the Create Evolve Mystical Sect could beat all the forces in the Eastern Wilderness. Tsing Hui's expression froze. Of course, the Create Evolve Mystical Sect has a huge business and has always dreamed of unifying the Eastern Wilderness. However, they also have many enemies. For example, the bounty for a true disciple of the Create Evolve Mystical Sect is slightly higher than that for a true disciple of the other 9 sacred lands. Bounty? Tsing Hui thought for a moment. Is the bounty high? Many forces in the outer seas have a death grudge with the Create Evolve Mystical Sect. As long as you bring the head of an awakening stage true disciple to these islands, regardless of whether that true disciple is innocent or not, you will be able to receive a low-grade Tier 2 divine weapon. As for the true disciples of the other sacred lands, the bounty is only worth a high-grade Tier 1 divine weapon. Moreover, it's not easy to receive the bounty. As Yan Huang spoke, he added, the 10 great sacred lands also have a bounty for the heads of many island masters and experts from overseas. However, these bounties are targeted and the price is also higher. This is also the reason why the true disciples of the 10 great sacred lands would still come overseas despite knowing the dangers overseas. Tsing Hui nodded. Yan Huang once again introduced some basic knowledge of the outer seas to Tsing Hui. In the end, he added, Colored Glass Island is not far from the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect's land. It's less than 20,000 kilometers away and you can reach it in 4 days. During this time, young master can have a good rest. Chapter 90. After knowing Yan Huang for so many days, Tsing Hui only thought that Luli Island was just a small island. After all, according to Yan Huang's tone, Luli Island didn't seem to be anything. But when he really came to Luli Island, he found that this was not a small island, but a continent. The entire island covered an area of 130,000 square kilometers, with a population of 140,000. There were 18 cities of various sizes, and hundreds of small villages and towns. The 18 cities were divided into 9 upper cities with a population of 1 million and a lower city with a population of 300,000. Among them, Luli City with a population of nearly 2 million was the central core of this island. Yan Huang was the city lord of Luli City and the island master of Luli Island. It was unknown what method Blazing Glory used to inform the people of Colored Glass Island, but when the Green Ruins warship flew to Colored Glass Island actually raised 12 warships to escort it. At the same time, there was also a team of elite guards made up of hundreds of Awakening Realm powerhouses riding flying ferocious beasts on both sides of the warship. When the warship landed at Luli Island's airport, there was an elite army of no less than 10,000 people outside the airport, tightly guarding the entire airport. As far as the eye could see, banners blotted out the sky and flowers were everywhere. Countless people in luxurious robes stood on the 2 sides. This scene made Qing Su sense Yan Huang's supreme authority on Colored Glass Island. Gongzi, please. When the carpet on the ground leading to the city lord's mansion was laid, Yan Huang came in front of Tsing Hui and gestured with his hand. At that moment, Tsing Hui took the lead to get off the warship, followed by Yan Huang. The moment the two of them disembarked from the battleship, the several hundred officials, guards of honor, and soldiers waiting outside called out at the same time, "Welcome back, young Master Qing Su." Welcome back, Island Master. The sound was like thunder, resounding for 10 li. Xing Hui looked around. In addition to the hundreds of elite flying squad from before, there were also hundreds of Awakening Realm cultivators. In addition to these Awakening Realm cultivators, there were also many true Qi realm experts. Xing Hui looked at the officials below and saw no less than 30 people. The leader was a middle-aged man in armor and an old man in a scholar's robe. They had already reached the spirit refining realm like Yan Huang. Luli Island has so many experts in one city. Xing Hui was somewhat surprised. Luli City is the core of Luli Island. Naturally, elites gather there. However, the other 8 city lords are all spirit refining realm experts. In other words, Luli Island has more than 10 spirit refining realm cultivators. Including me, Luli Island has a total of 13 spirit refining realm cultivators. However, overseas and inland are different, or rather, overseas cultivators are different from inland cultivators. Inland is relatively peaceful. Cultivators have a stable cultivation environment. They will think about polishing their realm to perfection, but overseas there are many forces, organizations, and experts that live today but know tomorrow. No one knows what kind of fate they will face in the future. What they pursue is realms and actual combat. Speaking till here, Yan Huang gave a simple analogy. It's like having 2 choices. One requires a lot of resources and more than 10 years to cultivate spirit-grade true Qi. The other is that you can immediately break through to the true Qi realm, but what you cultivate is the most ordinary true Qi. Inland cultivators may choose to continue polishing their true Qi for the sake of their future, but overseas they would not hesitate to cultivate their true Qi. After all, with more than 10 years, the cultivator who cultivated ordinary true Qi would have already reached the large success stage. Their strength would only be stronger than those who cultivated spirit-grade true Qi. When Qing Su heard that, he more or less gained an understanding of the cruelty of the overseas cultivation world. He glanced at the 2 spirit-refining cultivators again. Xing Hui threw an identification technique on the elder who seemed to have a higher cultivation. Name, unknown. Cultivation realm, Qi into aura. Attack level, 31, defense level, 31, speed level, 30, spirit level, 32. This value compared to Tu Ying, Wang Zhe, and Chao Zhendao, it was 1 or 2 points lower. Looking at this elder's age, he should have been in the spirit refining realm for more than 10 years. As for why his cultivation did not improve, Berserk Beast bloodline potential exhausted. Berserk beasts, spirit beasts, sacred beasts, divine beasts, all of them have an upper limit. No matter how much they cultivate, their strength will not exceed the upper limit of the bloodline they awaken. Just like a cultivator who awakened the Golden Crow bloodline, he will never be stronger than a real Golden Crow. Other than a few mutated Berserk beasts and the king of Berserk beasts, even the strongest Berserk beasts could only reach the 6th level of the immortal realm. Some of the weaker Berserk beasts could only reach the 3rd or 4th level of the immortal realm. Do you have any sword forging formulas here? Sword forging formulas are easy to obtain. Every sword forging master has at least 8,000 sword forging formulas in their mind. Otherwise, they would not be qualified to be a sword forging master. The key is the grade of the materials in our hands and the grade of the divine weapon that young master intends to forge. The people overseas place more emphasis on cultivation, but they are not proficient in alchemy, refining tools, formations, and the like. If young master wants to forge a 4th level divine sword, there are only a few people overseas who have the ability to do so. Moreover, their fees are all extremely high. Pass down the order. Collect the sword forging formulas for the 4th, 5th, and 6th level divine swords that are easier to obtain. We will go look at the materials now. 4th level, 5th level, 6th level, Yan Huang was secretly in awe. He recognized this master, his heart was not small. In addition, collect the armor formula as well. It should be at least 5th level. You want to collect armors too? Yan Huang was slightly startled. It was not easy to find a sword forging master. As for the armor, wait a minute, it seemed that young master did not even ask about a sword forging master. He did not need a sword-forging master. At this thought, a shocking guess immediately surged into his mind. Could it be the divine protection technique that Sons of Chaos can learn at the 15th level? When this thought appeared, Yan Huang felt that his thoughts had slowed down by a beat. Xing Hui was a 15th level Son of Chaos. One had to know that the highest level of chaos in the entire Eastern Wilderness was only the 16th level. Now, Xing Hui's level had reached the 15th level. It was unbelievable just thinking about it. Yan Huang lowered his head slightly, suppressing the shock in his heart. If Xing Hui was really a 15th level chaos, his future achievements would not be as simple as what they were now. The Immortality Realm or even the Saint Realm might not be impossible. During this period of time, he had some understanding of Xing Hui's character. He was not a harsh person. Following such a genius with limitless potential might even be an opportunity in his life. But whether or not Xing Hui was a 15th level Son of Chaos with the divine protection technique would have to wait until he gathered the materials and forged a suitable divine weapon. Under Yan Huang's lead, Xing Hui went straight to the core treasure trove of the city lord's mansion. Before long, one divine weapon after another appeared in front of Xing Hui, along with high-quality pills, armor, and secret arts. Although Yan Huang was the island master of Colored Glass Island and had cultivated Saint-grade stellar energy, the limits of his cultivation meant that he could not obtain anything beyond the 4th level. Even the Tier 4 high-grade mystic water armor he was wearing had been obtained by exchanging it with a treasure that could carry the Tao. It often required immense luck. For example, he had cultivated for nearly 100 years, but he had only obtained 2 treasures that could carry the Tao. And this was because he was the island master of Colored Glass Island and had countless subordinates at his disposal. Dragon Scale Rock, Sky Bluestone, Flame Astral Rock. These 3 types of ores have the highest value, and are all materials used to forge 6th level divine weapons. However, if I want to forge a 6th level divine weapon with just these materials, it's a little too little. From the looks of it, I can only forge a 5th level divine weapon. A 5th level divine weapon that completely matches my attributes wouldn't be any weaker than a 6th level divine weapon. Young Master's body contains fire attribute true chi, so a divine weapon forged will mainly be of the fire attribute. This Crimson Dragon Sword's forging technique is most suitable. Among the 3 most precious ores we have, Dragon Scale Stone can increase the toughness of the Crimson Dragon Sword, Celestial Stone can increase the sword's speed, and Flame Astral Stone can increase the damage of Fire Attribute True Chi. In addition, the Crimson Dragon Blood and Profound Gold Stone are only 5th level materials. We can buy them from the market. Materials are different from divine weapons. The price of materials of the same level is usually less than 1% of the price of a complete divine weapon. Buy with Spirit Stones. Spirit Stones are treasures that can only be used when one has reached the true Chi realm. Spirit Stones contain spiritual force, and absorbing them can increase one's cultivation speed. Qing Su remembered that a single Class 1 God artifact was worth 10 spiritual stones on the market, and the number of spiritual stones required for each Class 1 God artifact increased by 30 times. 100,000 spiritual stones could be regarded as a huge sum of money. Can Colored Glass Island take out this amount of spirit stones? Colored Glass Island doesn't have any precious resources. Their annual income is around 4,000 spirit stones. However, I have some things on me that can be sold as collateral. It won't be difficult to gather 100,000 spirit stones. Xing Hui nodded. Yan Huang was someone who had obtained the wealth of 2 Qingming realm cultivators. Although he had only obtained a small portion of it, and most of it was spent on holy grade astral qi, it was enough for him to possess wealth that far exceeded that of ordinary spirit refining realm cultivators. Then, there's no time to lose. The sea is so big, there should be a market. Go personally and buy it. If you can forge this divine weapon in half a month, we will have an easier time facing Lai Wuyang. Forging a divine weapon in half a month. Hearing Xing Hui's words, Yan Huang couldn't help but believe that he was a 15th rank Son of Chaos. He immediately said, "That's good." The nearest market to our Colored Glass Island is the Sea God Island. Although the Sea God Island is close to the mainland, its scale is huge. In addition, there are several spirit and chi unity realm cultivators overseeing the island. From time to time, there are even people from the mainland who bring things that are difficult to sell to the sea god island to sell. I will go and buy the things that young master wants. If it's fast, it will only take 5 to 6 days for a round trip. Xing Hui nodded. Introduce someone to me. I plan to stay overseas for a period of time and need to know more about this place. A son of chaos with no background staying overseas is indeed safer than the mainland, which is protected by the 10 great sections. I will arrange it for young master. Yan Zhong will listen to young master's orders for the next few days. Chapter 91. Sir, this is the crimson dragon blood and profound gold stone. Soon, Yan Huang brought the 2 materials to Xing Hui. Good. Xing Hui did not waste time. I've already asked Yan Zhong to raise the furnace. We're just waiting for your materials. Raise the furnace. Even though Yan Huang had expected this, he could not help but tremble when he heard Xing Hui say it. Sir, are you planning to forge your own sword? Xing Hui nodded. Immediately, Yan Huang no longer had any doubts about the guess in his heart. He was so excited that he was trembling slightly. Our glazed island sword casting furnace is only able to forge level 4 divine weapons at most. Even though it can barely forge level 5 divine weapons, that's only up to the standard of forging level 5 divine weapons. Young master is able to forge divine weapons with such a sword casting furnace. Could it be that you want to borrow the benefits of the divine blessing technique? It's the divine protection technique. Xing Hui knew what Yan Huang was excited about. There's no harm in telling you. You just have to remember not to spread the news. Yes, yes, yes. Yan Huang hurriedly agreed respectfully. At the same time, he raised his hand and swore, I promise you, sir, if this news spreads, I'll be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Xing Hui nodded. Sir, since you have such a high level of chaos, why don't you create your own chaos organization? You have to know that every son of chaos is comparable to a genius. Even those mediocre level 1 chaos people can become geniuses with the help of a son of chaos. If you can create a chaos organization and pull these people to your side, then slowly gain their loyalty, they'll be the first batch of core members when you want to establish your own sect. Yan Huang suggested, for example, the Xinshao sword sect, which is currently advancing extremely quickly and can be said to be like the sun in the midday sky, is the best representative of the 10 great sacred sections. The Xinshao sword sect. You're saying that it isn't just the Xinshao sword sect but the other sacred grounds as well? Yes, and they might join an even stronger chaos organization. In the eastern wilderness, they're only a part of these chaos organizations. If necessary, I'll consider it. Xing Hui felt a little troubled. Compared to creating a chaos organization, he was more inclined to join a powerful chaos organization, as long as that chaos organization could bring him convenience. Yes. Yan Huang was good at reading people's expressions, so he naturally saw that Xing Hui didn't have such intentions. He felt regretful in his heart, but it wasn't good to say anything. Very quickly, the 2 of them arrived at the sword-casting furnace. Xing Hui ordered Yan Huang to stand guard outside, and then went to the sword-casting furnace that had already lit up. He carefully recalled the steps of forging the Crimson Dragon Sword, and then, Dragon Scale Stone, Sky Blue Stone, Flame Star Stone, Crimson Dragon Blood, Profound Gold Stone, and a drop of Crimson Sun True Chi were all thrown into the furnace. If any other swordsmiths were to see this kind of swordsmithing technique, they would definitely jump up and point at him, accusing him of wasting natural resources and materials. However, he had the divine protection spell, so he didn't need to care about these details. As long as the materials were gathered and the sword forging formula was correct, the next step. Whoosh! As Xing Hui activated the divine protection spell, an extremely pure, primal chaos force was injected into the sword-casting furnace. Immediately, The sword-casting furnace, which could only burn with platinum flames, shone brightly, and a crimson-gold spirit fire actually appeared inside. In an instant, all the materials were completely melted and forged. The crimson-gold spirit fire burned fiercely, and after half an hour, it gradually extinguished. When the terrifying heat gradually dissipated, a dark red sword appeared in front of him. Even the process of forging a sword mold was saved. This divine protection spell. While Xinghui once again felt the profoundness of the Son of Chaos's many skills, he couldn't wait to step forward and hold the still blazing Crimson Dragon sword in his hand. Fortunately, he cultivated Crimson Sun True Qi and awakened the Golden Crow bloodline. Although he hadn't cultivated the Golden Crow battle body to the point where he didn't fear flames, the terrifying heat of the Crimson Dragon's sword could still be resisted by his True Qi. Because the materials used to forge the sword contained his blood essence and Crimson Sun True Qi, the moment the Crimson Dragon's sword touched his hand, he immediately felt a connection with it. The perfect compatibility between the sword and the person was even better than the Great One's sword that he had used the level-up technique to upgrade. Qi. Xinghui infused the Crimson Sun True Qi, and the dark red Crimson Dragon's sword exploded with dazzling sword light. It was like a layer of stellar energy attached to the sword, and it emitted rolling heat waves. If this layer of heat waves were to spread freely in the forest, it would be enough to cause a forest fire out of thin air. Good, this sword has been infused with my Crimson Sun True Qi. Under the stimulation of my Crimson Sun True Qi, it's equivalent to the power of a 5th grade high-grade divine weapon. If it's an ordinary fire attribute True Qi, it's at most equivalent to a 5th grade low-grade divine weapon. It's not an exaggeration to call this divine weapon an exclusive divine weapon. Xinghui looked at the Crimson Dragon sword, and he was very satisfied. The Shakyamuni, Hall Masters, and Peak Masters of the 10 great sacred sects might be able to wield 5th grade divine weapons, but they might not be able to reach the 5th grade high grade. As for the overseas forces, even among the Green Netherworld Realm experts, less than half of them possessed 5th grade divine weapons, and more than 90% of them used 5th grade low-grade divine weapons. Pa! Xinghui pushed open the door of the furnace. Yan Huang, who was waiting outside, immediately turned around with a face full of surprise. Young master, in the next moment, his gaze had already landed on the Crimson Dragon sword, and his eyes immediately widened. This is, the Crimson Dragon sword. It's completed. Xinghui nodded. It's actually so fast. Even a 5th-level swordsmith would have to spend at least 10 days to half a month to forge a 4th-level god artifact. As for a 5th-level god artifact, it would have to depend on fate and luck. Right now, the profoundness of the divine protection technique is not something we can imagine. Alright, my divine sword has just been forged, and I need to test its power. You can do it. Is there a suitable place? Yes, young master, please follow me. Even though Yan Huang had personally witnessed a Green Netherworld Realm expert fighting with a 5th grade divine weapon, those 5th grade divine weapons were only middle grade and low grade. This was the first time he had seen a 5th grade divine weapon. Under Yan Huang's lead, the two of them quickly arrived at the training grounds of the city lord's mansion. This martial arts practice field was the size of a small football field. The ground was made of extremely sturdy jade corundum stone, and the surroundings were completely sealed. Even if a true Qi realm expert were to fight inside, they would not be able to cause any damage to the martial arts practice field. I don't want others to see the power of the Crimson Dragon sword. Stepping into the training ground, Xinghui said. Immediately, Yan Huang summoned Yan Zhong and ordered him to stand guard outside the training ground. He then stood in front of Xinghui and activated the mystic water armor at the first moment, looking as if he was about to face a great enemy. Against a 5th grade divine weapon, no matter how careful one was, one could never be too careful. I'm going to strike, Xinghui said, and in the next moment, the Crimson Dragon sword pierced out like lightning. Fast. When Xinghui really pierced out with the Crimson Dragon sword, he truly felt the increase in speed. With this increase, the speed of his sword was increased by 20%, causing his swordsmanship to become even sharper. Not only was it fast, but as he infused his crimson yang true qi, the crimson dragon sword shone with a blazing light, as if it had turned into a layer of sword energy. Moreover, this layer of sword energy was perfectly compatible with his crimson yang true qi, giving him a feeling that he was almost at the level of spirit and qi as one. Bang! 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 The divine sword and Yan Huang's gloves instantly clashed together, and a series of metallic clangs could be heard. As Tsinghui continued to strike, the speed of the sword became faster and faster, and the sword energy became stronger and stronger. The changes in the sword energy and the circulation of true qi also became smoother and smoother. In fact, this sword seemed to have turned into an extension of his true qi and thoughts. In a single exchange, the sharp sword left his hand and stabbed out, and then returned to his hand like a flying sword. The power and mystery of a fifth-grade divine weapon were vividly displayed in his hands. Stop! Stop! Young master, please stop. Just as Tsinghui was exploring the mysteries of this fifth-grade divine weapon to his heart's content, Yan Huang couldn't help but shout. As Tsinghui recovered from that carefree and unrestrained sword strike, his gaze once again fell on Yan Huang. He was shocked to find that the mystic water armor on Yan Huang's body had already been destroyed by him, and even the fourth-grade gloves on his hands had a crack. If it wasn't repaired quickly, it would be in danger of being destroyed. Yan Huang's true qi was also severely depleted, and he was panting heavily. Tsinghui carefully thought about it, and very soon, he understood something. This crimson dragon sword increased my attack by 12 levels. If I can make a breakthrough in my sword intent, my mental strength will be able to reach level 50 and above, and my attack will be increased to level 13. Tsinghui looked at the divine sword in his hands with a strange look in his eyes. With his current attack, the 5th-grade Crimson Dragon Sword should be able to increase his attack from level 7 to level 14, and a 5th-grade divine weapon was usually meant for Qingming Realm cultivators. Only Qingming Realm cultivators could unleash its full power. Tsinghui was only in the true Qi realm, yet he was able to increase his attack by 12 levels, causing his attack to increase from level 34 to level 45. It could be seen how powerful this divine weapon was. Congratulations to young master for obtaining a divine weapon. With this divine weapon, young master only needs to take the initiative to attack. Under the spirit refining realm, no one would be able to block young master's sword. After Yan Huang took a deep breath, he quickly cupped his hands towards Tsinghui and congratulated him. Take the initiative to attack, Tsinghui nodded. The Crimson Dragon Sword increased his attack and not his defense or speed. If those peak spirit refining realm cultivators were to attack first, he would not be able to use his sword in time. No matter how high his attack was, no matter how sharp his divine weapon was, it would be useless. At that time, with his pitiful defense and reaction speed, he would not be able to fight against a peak spirit refining realm cultivator. But if he were to attack first, it would be different under the explosion of the sword. As long as they were not like Yan Huang, who was wearing a 4th-grade armor, almost no one would be able to block it. Even Yan Huang, who had yet to master his earth qi, might not be able to block the Crimson Dragon's sword with his Blackwater armor. With this sword, we have a higher chance of killing Lai Wuyang. Tsinghui said. Not bad. Moreover, with the power of this sword, we might be able to use another method to kill Lai Wuyang. Oh. Young master should know that the amulet on Lai Wuyang's body contains 1/10 of the power of an elite at the peak of the Green Hell realm. Its power is roughly equivalent to an all-out attack from an elite at the early stage of the Green Hell realm. Based on Lai Ji Shakyamuni's spiritual grade Gang Qi and his spiritual grade incantation, the power of his attack should be around 51 to 54. Young master, with the Crimson Dragon Sword in your hand and the divine grade incantation, you might be able to counter that attack. Chapter 92. 51 to 54, Tsinghui frowned. After cultivating the Crimson Yangzhen Qi, his attack level had already reached the 34th level. With the help of the divine technique and the Crimson Dragon Sword, his attack level could reach the 50th level. As for the Sword of the Glorious Sun, its power was linked to Jinqi and sword intent. According to the power when it broke the black water armor, it increased the attack by 4 levels. This way, it was enough to fight an attack with an attack. The power contained within the amulet is not inferior to the full power strike of an early-stage Blue Nether Realm expert. However, it is not a true early-stage Blue Nether Realm expert after all. If it was a true early-stage Blue Nether Realm expert, he would not have fought you head-on. He would have relied on his advantage in speed to stop you first. However, the power of the amulet is relatively inflexible. As long as you attack Lai Wuyang with your sword, the amulet will activate and protect Lai Wuyang. It will definitely use all its power to block your sword. At that time, the power of the amulet will naturally collapse. You're thinking too simply. In order to cultivate the 6 elements true fire, Lai Wuyang didn't hesitate to go overseas. It can be seen that her cultivation has already reached the peak of the true energy realm. I don't need to say more about the level of cultivation of a person with perfect divine grade true qi. Adding on the fact that she's the daughter of the Golden Crow Shakyamuni Lai Ji, the number of divine weapons in her possession is definitely not few. With your cultivation, not to mention capturing her alive, whether or not you can even defeat her is still a question. Xing Hui said. A divine grade Jinqi cultivator, she could often fight with someone above her level. Once I use that sword art of mine, I will use up all my Jinqi and won't be able to fight anymore. Then what do you mean? In the past few days, I have learned about the conflict between the overseas forces and the 10 great saint sections. I found that the Jin Wu religion also has a lot of enemies overseas. Among them, there is an island close to Longluo Bay called Xianming Island. The owner of the island has a great hatred for the Jin Wu religion. We can only use the wolf to devour the tiger to wear down the power of the Jin Wu religion and see if we can take advantage of it. Xianming Island. That's one of the top overlords in this ocean region. They're at level 4 of the immortal realm. They're ranked 804 on the Divine Dragon leaderboard. If we tell Xianming Island about this, I'm afraid we won't be able to do anything. From Yan Huang's words, it was clear that he was extremely fearful of the profound underworld island master. This is the only way. Alright, send the news to island master Xianming. Yan Huang frowned. In the end, he could only nod and say, alright, we'll do as young master says. Blazing Glory was very efficient. Island Master Xianming only took a day to receive the news from Blazing Glory through a secret channel. However, as an overlord, although Island Master Xianming hated the Jin Wu religion, one of the 10 great holy sects, he was able to survive until now and build up such a large business overseas because he had always been cautious. When he received the news, he did not take any action. Instead, he sent more people to investigate the authenticity and source of the news. When the deadline of half a month was up, the daughter of the Jin Wu religion's Shakyamuni, Lai Wuyang, set off for Longluo Bay. The exact news was placed on Island Master Xianming's desk. Island Master, this is all the information we've gathered these days. In front of Island Master Xianming, his right-hand man, Flying Flood Dragon, stood respectfully. Island Master of Colored Glaze Island? Son of Yanfei. What's his name? Yan Lai. A very ambitious little guy. Why did he leak this information to us? This subordinate has investigated. Colored Glaze Island and Creation Mysterious Sect have enmity, but it doesn't seem to have any enmity with the Jin Wu religion. Then what's their motive? This subordinate is ashamed. Island Master Xianming took the report and flipped through it for a moment before putting it down again. Did any experts come to Colored Glaze Island recently? No, the experts of Colored Glaze Island haven't changed at all. There hasn't been any large-scale mobilization of troops. Lightning Flash paused for a moment, as if he had thought of something. He suddenly said, not long ago, Colored Glaze Island took the initiative to use a lot of manpower to welcome a young man named Chou Tsing-Hui. However, according to our many inquiries, that Chou Tsing-Hui is only at the True Qi realm. True Qi realm? Island Master Xianming's heart moved, as if he had thought of something. Did you find out what kind of technique Cho Tsing-hui cultivates? Or the attribute of his true qi? Time is of the essence. We have no way of knowing what kind of technique he cultivates, but we can confirm that his true qi is of the fire attribute. Island Master Xian Ming smiled when he heard this. I might have guessed what colored glaze islands Yen lie, or that Cho Tsing-hui is planning. Fire attribute true qi. Island Master is saying, they are after the Great Sun Golden Crow technique on Lai Wuyang. This is only one of the possibilities. However, it doesn't matter. Even if Colored Glaze Island wants to make a move, can they shake our Xianming Island? Have people pay close attention to the movements of Colored Glaze Island's people. Once they mobilize their troops, inform me immediately. Also, have my 14 shadow guards and the other 9 city lords arrived? They have all arrived. They will listen to Island Master's orders at any time. Lai Wuyang has already rushed to Longluo Bay. Listen to my orders. 14 shadow guards and 9 city lords, move out and follow me to Longluo Bay. It doesn't matter if that Colored Glaze Island Master wants to drive the wolf to devour the tiger for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique or if he has other motives. I will definitely kill this true disciple of the Jin Wu religion. I will let anyone from the Jin Wu religion understand that destroying my profound dark sect is the biggest mistake they have made in their lives. Starfire Flowing Light, Sword of the Glorious Sun, these were currently the 2 most powerful sword moves that Tsing-hui had mastered. Among them, the Sword of the Glorious Sun was extremely powerful. It required one to use all the true qi in one's body. Its power was linked to true qi and sword intent. It was a killing move that could grow along with one's cultivation. As for Starfire Flowing Light, it was a sword technique that used astral qi. Qing Su possessed level 4 comprehension and level 3 talent for the way of the sword, so he cultivated the 13 swords of burning heaven extremely quickly. However, he had yet to cultivate aura in the past, so the power of the Starfire stream was not very obvious compared to the first sword of the 13 swords of burning heaven. However, now that he had the Crimson Dragon sword, relying on this high-grade rank 5 divine sword, the Crimson Yang Qi in his body was not like astral qi. Instead, it was even stronger than astral qi. Naturally, he could better display the might of this sword. Young Master. Just when Tsing-hui was cultivating, Yan Huang's voice sounded from outside, the people from Xianming Island have moved out. Xianming Island Master is personally leading the team. The 9 city lords are moving out at the same time. Accompanying them are the 14 shadow guards that Xianming Island Master has carefully cultivated. A total of 23 spirit refining cultivators. Tsing-hui finished comprehending the sword and opened the door. All right, let's go. Young Master, I'm afraid that the rest of our Colored Glaze Island should not act rashly. Xianming Island is worried that our Colored Glaze Island is deceitful and had 3 spirit refining cultivators secretly monitor our Colored Glaze Island. If at this time, our Colored Glaze Island also comes out in full force, in order to prevent future troubles, Xianming Island will most likely turn around and destroy our Colored Glaze Island before killing Lai Wuyang. No matter, Lai Wuyang and Xianming Island Master are not weak. Although there are many spirit refining cultivators in Glazed Island, they will not be of much use in a battle of this level. The 2 of us can just sneak over secretly. With just the 2 of us, the target is much smaller. Naturally, we can avoid being monitored by the 3 spirit refining cultivators of Xianming Island. In addition, I will let my substitute appear from time to confuse the spies of Xianming Island to ensure that nothing goes wrong. It's good that you can consider it thoroughly. Yan Huang took out 2 pearls and said, Young Master, this is a water-splitting pearl. It has the effect of repelling water. Although it's not expensive, it's very rare. We'll go around from the bottom of the sea to an island 100 kilometers away. I've already arranged 2 flying beasts there. This way, we can definitely hide from Xianming Island spies. Alright. Tsing-hui nodded. He did not need to worry about Yan Huang's work. Xianming Island spies in Glazed Island would only monitor Yan Huang. Yan Huang had a substitute, which was enough to fool them. As for Tsing Hui, a true Qi realm cultivator, how many people would put him in their eyes? The two of them immediately dived into the sea with the water-splitting pearl. Once they entered the sea, the water within a radius of 2 meters around the pearl was pushed away by an invisible force. Tsing Hui was secretly amazed. Together with Yan Huang, they quickly advanced under the sea. After advancing for 100 kilometers, they arrived at an island. They changed into 2 awakening realm beasts and soared into the sky, flying straight towards Long Luo Bay. In the sky above Long Luo Bay, a warship was riding the wind and breaking the waves, quickly passing through the sea of clouds. Their destination was a newly formed volcanic island in the center of Long Luo Bay. "Young miss, our trip is a bit risky." On the deck of the warship, an old man with wrinkles on his face looked at the young girl beside him who was wearing a fiery red dress and was full of sexy aura. He was worried. This young girl was Lai Wuyang, the daughter of the Jin Wu religion's law king, Lai Ji. Long Luo Bay is only 20,000 kilometers inland. Our modified cloud-piercing warship can fly at full speed and return in 2 days and nights. Moreover, there are actually no top powerhouses in the sea within 30,000 kilometers. There are only a few who have reached the spirit and Qi unification realm. If they really dare to come, it's more than enough to deal with them with father's special protection talisman. The young girl said disapprovingly. Since they dare to come, they'll naturally be prepared. Then, let me see what kind of experts are in the dangerous sea that you and father described. The young girl's eyes were full of fighting spirit. Since her debut, she had experienced countless big and small fights. Not to mention the true Qi realm, even the number of spirit-refining realm cultivators that died in her hands had exceeded 2 digits. Now that she was at the crucial moment of cultivating the divine Great Earth Qi, she was full of confidence. She felt that the world was so big that she could go anywhere she wanted. But the sea, isn't there still Lai Ping and the 6 guards that father sent to me? With your cultivation of spirit Great Earth Qi and them, it won't be a problem for you to go anywhere within 6,000 miles of Long Luo Bay. After Lai Wuyang finished speaking, seeing that the old man still wanted to say something, she waved her hand impatiently. "All right, I've made up my mind. No matter what, I have to take this opportunity to cultivate divine Great Earth Qi and become the only saintess of the Jin Wu religion." Chapter 93. Rumble. On the nameless island in Long Luo Bay, a deafening sound came from afar. As Tsing Hui and Yan Huang needed to avoid the spies that Xianming Island had spread around Colored Glaze Island, their speed wasn't fast. When they arrived at the volcanic island in Long Luo Bay, an intense battle had already broken out. "It has begun." As Yan Huang spoke, a mirror-like spiritual weapon appeared in his hand. As he pointed the mirror at the nameless volcanic island, the scene on the island instantly appeared before his eyes. This is Sky Observation Mirror. It's a special divine weapon. This is a level 3 Sky Observation Mirror that I obtained from one of the 2 green Netherworld realm experts. It can see as far as 100 kilometers. It's a pity that there's no sound, only images. As Yan Huang spoke, he looked around and soon, his gaze landed on a reef. It's too conspicuous to be in the void. Let's go there and wait for the outcome of their battle. All right. Tsing Hui nodded. As the volcanic island was formed from the volcanic eruption, the surrounding surface naturally changed as well, giving birth to some reefs and other terrains. The two of them entered the reef island, and Yan Huang took out a spiritual weapon that looked like a ping-pong ball. As he activated the spiritual weapon, the environment around the two of them changed slightly. They actually completely merged with the reef. This is also a special spiritual weapon. It's only a level 1 spiritual weapon and doesn't have any other effects. It can only allow the color on our body to completely match with the surrounding environment. It's just like a creature in the natural world called a chameleon. If those experts sense us carefully, we won't be able to hide at all. It's just better than nothing. Yan Huang explained. Tsing Hui nodded. In this world, offensive divine weapons were the cheapest, followed by defensive divine weapons and flying swords. After that, there were all sorts of strange and special auxiliary divine weapons. The two divine weapons that Yan Huang took out were obviously collected through Colored Glaze Island's prowess over the years. In the sky observation mirror, the battle between Xianming Island and Lai Wuyang had already broken out. Although Xianming Island brought 23 spirit refining experts, the number of experts by Lai Wuyang's side was not small either. Other than the old man Lai Ping who had reached the peak of the spirit rank, there were also 6 elite spirit refining guards. Other than that, the warship that Lai Wuyang piloted actually had formations. Relying on these formations, Lai Wuyang and the other spirit refining experts were able to defend against the attacks of Xianming Island, an overlord of the spirit and Qi unity realm. Formations, this is the monopoly of the 10 great sects. The reason why Create Evolve Mysterious Sect is able to have such a scale is because other than experts, they also have formations. Relying on these formations, they can only attack others while others cannot attack them. Take Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's most common formation, the Gate of Fortune, as an example. This formation is controlled by a spirit refining expert and requires a spirit and Qi unity realm overlord to break through. Moreover, it requires a lot of time. If 10 spirit refining experts were to control the formation at the same time, that spirit and Qi unity realm overlord would not be able to break through the formation even after 10 days or half a month. And in that time, Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's reinforcements would have arrived long ago. Yan Huang looked at Lai Wuyang who was borrowing the might of the formation to fight against Xianming Island and sighed from the bottom of his heart. Monopoly. Monopoly of techniques, resources, formations. No wonder other than the son of primal chaos, ordinary loose cultivators who did not join the 10 great sects would have no chance to make a name for themselves. Truly worthy of being the daughter of a law king. 4th rank high-grade defensive armor and a 4th rank high-grade divine sword. TSK, this Lai Wuyang is only in the true Qi realm, but she already has 2 4th rank high-grade divine weapons. Yan Huang stared at Lai Wuyang in the image with a trace of envy in his eyes. As the battle between both sides escalated, they finally began to reveal their trump cards. Lai Wuyang can't hold on anymore. She's going to use her protective talisman. Yan Huang looked at it for a moment and his face suddenly revealed a look of surprise. The strategy of driving the wolf to devour the tiger had taken effect. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from the volcanic island. Even if they were 100 kilometers apart, Tsing Hui and Yan Huang both felt it. In the sky observation mirror, the Golden Crow sect's Dharma King Lai Ji's silhouette suddenly appeared. The Dharma King let out a furious roar, and the sound waves dispersed, causing ripples to appear on the surface of the sky observation mirror. Then, as he cast his secret technique, a blazing sun seemed to appear in his palm, bursting with endless radiance. The scorching sun formed in a second, and then smashed towards Xianming Island with a destructive power. The power that erupted in an instant allowed Tsing Hui and Yan Huang to clearly see the energy torrent that exploded. As expected, Xianming Island was prepared. That's the myriad transformations mysterious ice. Yan Huang exclaimed. At the same time that the scorching sun smashed towards Xianming Island with a destructive power, a transparent mysterious ice suddenly appeared in front of Xianming Island and wrapped around him. Myriad transformations mysterious ice. The 10,000 transformations profound ice is a special kind of ice-type treasure. It needs to settle at the bottom of the sea for more than 10 years before it can be formed. Only a special kind of underwater creature, the profound ice fish, can eat it. This kind of profound ice has an extremely obvious restraining effect on fire-type techniques. It is because of this treasure that Island Master Xianming dared to have designs on Lai Wuyang even though he knew she had a protective talisman on her. Yan Huang quickly explained. As the two of them talked for a short time, the rolling heat wave gradually dissipated. Although Xianming Island looked a little embarrassed, he had withstood the power of the protective talisman. He seemed to be aware that he had used up Lai Wuyang's final trump card. Xianming Island, who was confident of victory, couldn't help but laugh wantonly. Even if they couldn't hear his voice, Xing Hui and Yan Huang could feel the carefree feeling in Xianming Island's heart. Lai Wuyang is finished. Although she has cultivated the divine true qi and has cultivated it to perfection, compared to an overlord of the four realms of longevity, the gap is still too big. Yan Huang said with some regret. Lai Wuyang, she could definitely be called one of the top geniuses of the Jin Wu religion. As long as this kind of person didn't fall, she could even compete for the throne of the Jin Wu religion's leader in the future. Finished? That's not necessarily true. Look carefully, there's no fear on Lai Wuyang's face. Xing Hui said. Ha! After he said that, Yan Huang also suddenly realized this point. At this time, the situation in the sky observation mirror suddenly changed. Lai Wuyang suddenly took out an item, and it exploded again, forming a bright sun that was countless times more blazing than before. It was so strong that it could blind people's eyes instantly bloomed, causing the sky observation mirror to become white. At the same time, Xing Hui and Yan Huang looked up. On the volcanic island that was close to 100 kilometers away, there seemed to be a sun rising slowly. Endless light filled the sky. Even if they were close to 100 kilometers away, the two of them could still see it clearly. Yan Huang opened his mouth and looked at the dazzling light. He felt his whole body turn cold. The eternal blazing sun. Lai Ji actually gave his daughter an eternal blazing sun. That's the most important strategic treasure of the Jin Wu religion. Qing Su stared at the resplendent light, and there was also a sliver of shock in his eyes. It contained an explosive force that was almost comparable to a small tactical nuclear bomb on Earth. What exactly is the eternal blazing sun? Xing Hui's face turned slightly green. The Jin Wu religion is a strategic treasure. Young master, you should have heard someone mention that the Golden Crow sect doesn't have a Saint Realm expert. The reason this sect can still be one of the 10 great sects without a Saint Realm expert is mainly because of the existence of the eternal blazing sun. It's a powerful one-time use treasure created by someone who cultivates the Great Sun Golden Crow technique by simulating the internal energy fission of the sun. Simulating the internal energy fission of the sun. How many eternal blazing suns are there in the Jin Wu religion? That eternal blazing sun just now should be a semi-finished product. Otherwise, its power would be more than that. At the same time, it wouldn't have been given to Lai Wuyang. After all, even the Guardian King doesn't have the right to use such a strategic item. The real eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to the full-strength attack of an immortal-level expert. You have to know that there's not much difference between an immortal-level expert and a saint in terms of attack. It's just a difference in the duration. In other words, an eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to a saint's attack. As for the number, after countless years of accumulation, no one knows how many eternal blazing suns there are in the Jin Wu religion. Xing Hui was silent for a moment and looked in the direction of the volcanic island. Then Island Master Xianming, he's dead. That semi-finished eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to the attack of an immortal-level expert. Even if Island Master Xianming has a piece of myriad mysterious ice, he'll still die. Yan Huang's words were firm. Xing Hui didn't say anything else and focused on looking at the sky observation mirror. However, there was no need to look at the sky observation mirror anymore. Not long after, he saw 3 spirit refining cultivators from Xianming Island escaping from the direction of Volcano Island. Behind them, Lai Ping was riding a beast and chasing after them at full speed. Once Lai Ping, a peak spirit refining cultivator, catches up to the 3 of them, only death awaits them. At this time, the dazzling light on the sky observation mirror gradually dissipated, revealing the scene on the volcanic island. The entire volcanic island seemed to have been swept by a destructive force and turned into a mess. Countless boulders filled the surface of the island, and a huge crater with a radius of nearly a kilometer appeared on the island. On one side of the island, the formation on Lai Wuyang's warship seemed to have been completely destroyed by the explosion of the eternal blazing sunday. Even the warship itself looked somewhat damaged. Many awakening cultivators on the warship had fallen under the energy shock wave. Even Lai Wuyang, who had summoned the eternal blazing sun, was injured and was sitting cross-legged on the deck to recuperate. Although Lai Wuyang has awakened the Golden Crow's bloodline, and her chi has a strong effect against the eternal blazing sun, she was too close to Island Master Xian Ming just now. She must have been attacked by the eternal blazing sun's power. If we want to kill her, this is the best opportunity. Yan Huang looked at Lai Wuyang, who was recuperating and couldn't help but light up. Who can guarantee that she doesn't have a second eternal blazing sun? Impossible. A strategic resource like the eternal blazing sun can only be used by the sect master and grand elder. Although Lai Wuyang's father, Lai Ji, is a law king, having a semi-finished eternal blazing sun is already his limit. If he dares to have more, the higher-ups of the Jin Wu religion won't let him off. Xing Hui saw that Yan Huang was making a solemn vow and nodded, "All right, but before we kill Lai Wuyang, we have to kill Lai Ping first. Otherwise, if Lai Wuyang still has the strength to fight and joins forces with this cultivator who has reached the peak of the spirit rank, the two of us might not be able to gain the upper hand." Chapter 94. Stay here. Lai Ping chased after the three spirit refining cultivators from Xianming Island and slashed out with his sword. Heat waves rolled and turned into a dazzling rainbow as he killed the flying mount of the spirit refining cultivator. After losing his flying mount, the spirit refining cultivator's expression changed. With a scream, he fell into the sea. For cultivators who did not have the ability to fly and did not have a flying sword, falling into the sea was a dead end. His flying mount is faster than us. We need to kill his mount so that we can escape. Fight him to the death. Seeing that there was no way to escape, the remaining two spirit refining cultivators were enraged. They turned around and pounced towards Lai Ping. However, Lai Ping was a peak spirit realm cultivator while the two in front of him were just ordinary spirit refining cultivators. Even if they fought with their lives on the line, how could they be Lai Ping's opponent? In less than a moment, the two of them were in a precarious situation. As Lai Ping took the opportunity to reveal a flaw, one of the spirit refining cultivators fell into his trap and was killed by his sword. He then turned his sword and attacked the other spirit refining cultivator, who was filled with fear. Just when Lai Ping thought victory was within his grasp, Qing Su suddenly rose up on his sword and broke through the sound barrier in a single moment. He directly charged into the battlefield with a blast of air. "Who is it?" Lai Ping let out a cry of surprise. He immediately sensed the rolling heat wave coming from the person behind him. Unfortunately, when he glanced at Xing Hui and found out that he was only a true Qi cultivator, he was enraged, courting death. At that moment, his right hand attacked the other spirit refining cultivator while his left hand condensed earth Qi. A blazing heat wave swept towards Xing Hui. He did not hope to kill him on the spot, but as long as he could force him to retreat and kill the spirit refining cultivator from Xianming Island, a mere true Qi cultivator would naturally be at his mercy. Chang! At the same time, Lai Ping's sword pierced through the head of the spirit refining cultivator from Xianming Island, who could not dodge in time. Xing Hui followed closely with his sword. The Crimson Dragon sword appeared, and the sharp sword edge of the upper-grade Tier 5 divine weapon instantly shattered all the Gang Qi that Lai Ping had sent out. The remaining force did not diminish as it charged towards Lai Ping. Not good. When Lai Ping sensed the abnormality of the Green Ruin's true Qi and tried his best to dodge, the Scarlet Dragon sword had already swept past Lai Ping's shoulder with lightning speed. True Qi erupted, reducing his entire arm to ashes in a single moment. "Ah, this true Qi, you..." Before Lai Ping could return to his senses from the pain of his arm being incinerated, Qing Su's attack arrived right after. Sparks directly swept past his throat, causing his cries of fear to come to a halt. "Young master!" Yan Huang's figure appeared and caught Lai Ping's falling corpse. After searching, he quickly found a few valuable items and presented them to Xing Hui. "This Lai Ping is an old servant sent by Law King Lai Ji to Lai Wuyang. He has a lot of wealth. Other than a high-grade rank 3 spirit sword, the inner armor he is wearing is also a low-grade rank 3 spirit weapon. It's a pity that a rank 3 spirit armor cannot be fused with true chi and earth chi. As long as it does not block the sharpness of the spirit weapon, it will not be effective. At the end, he quickly added, of course, even if it can block the sharpness, in front of a high-grade rank 5 Crimson Dragon sword, a mere low-grade rank 3 spirit armor is like paper, unable to withstand a single blow. Xing Hui nodded and kept the items in his storage space. Wu Ju made him understand the rules of survival in this world. Otherwise, with his previous character, even if it was for the sake of breaking through vacuum in 10 years, he would not do something like killing others for no reason. The good stuff on a spirit refining cultivator is not little. Don't let it go. What about the other spirit refining cultivator? Yan Huang pointed at the spirit refining cultivator who fell into the sea. Deal with it as you see fit. I cultivate the golden crow chi. In a while, let's see if I can disguise myself as a true disciple of the Jin Wu religion and get close to Lai Wuyang before giving her a fatal blow. Yes. Yan Huang nodded. If he could really kill Lai Wuyang before she could react, that would be the best outcome. Otherwise, if Lai Wuyang still had some life-saving treasures on her, it would be troublesome. After a short discussion, Xing Hui sat on the flying beast and flew towards the island where Lai Wuyang was. Not long after, he arrived at the desolate volcanic island with a diameter of less than 3 kilometers. As Xing Hui approached, the 2 spirit refining cultivators who survived to protect Lai Wuyang shouted at the same time, "Who are you? Stop! If you take half a step forward, I'll kill you. I just witnessed the eruption of the sun. It's similar to my Jin Wu religion's treasure, the eternal blazing Sunday. Is there anyone from my Jin Wu religion here?" After speaking, Xing Hui deliberately revealed the aura of his Golden Crow bloodline. However, because his Golden Crow bloodline had just awakened, and he had the true chi from the Torch Sun Sutra, this kind of aura seemed out of place. Even so, Lai Wuyang, who was in seclusion, opened her eyes and looked at Xing Hui. You're a true disciple of the Jin Wu religion. State your name. The spirit refining cultivator who was guarding Lai Wuyang did not lower his guard. Alright, this junior brother is undoubtedly from my Jin Wu religion. He might even be a disciple of one of the elders. There are traces of awakening the Golden Crow bloodline on his body, but when he broke through to the true Qi realm, he fell to the sacred rank. I feel that your Golden Crow Qi is not pure. Lai Wuyang stared at Xing Hui with bright eyes, as if he had seen through all the secrets on his body. Hearing Lai Wuyang's words, the 2 spirit refining cultivators relaxed a lot. Alright, since you're a junior brother of the Jin Wu religion, then it's fine. Just now, I was attacked by a small group from Xianming Island. Although I killed all of them, I also suffered some injuries. Right now, I need to recuperate. Protect me. If your performance is outstanding, I'll give you some pointers and teach you the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. It'll allow you to purify your true chi and cultivate divine rank true chi again. Xing Hui's eyes lit up and was about to say something. But then, he was suddenly shocked. The Great Sun Golden Crow technique was the most precious treasure of the Jin Wu religion, but the Black Hole Scripture's position in the Hunyuan Heaven sect was ordinary. Although he revealed the aura of the Golden Crow, his identity had not been verified. Why would Lai Wuyang teach him the Great Sun Golden Crow technique for no reason? Taking a closer look at the 2 spirit refining cultivators, although they seemed to be relaxed, the true chi in their body seemed to be surging. As long as he stepped on the island and walked down from the bird, they would give him a fatal blow. This Lai Wuyang, attack. Seeing Xing Hui hesitate, Lai Wuyang seemed to have realized that he was too impatient and made a prompt decision. His figure that was sitting cross-legged suddenly flew up. The sword in his hand blossomed with dazzling flames, like a meteor striking the moon. At the same time that Lai Wuyang attacked, the 2 spirit refining cultivators also attacked. Different from Lai Wuyang's attack on Xing Hui, the 2 spirit refining cultivators' target was the bird that Xing Hui was sitting on. The 3 of them attacked as fast as lightning. Even if Xing Hui reacted quickly, he still only had time to use the Scarlet Dragon sword to collide with the divine weapon in Lai Wuyang's hand. Divine rank true qi collided with divine rank true qi, causing flames to erupt in the air. It was as if a cannonball had exploded in the air, forming a flame impact visible to the naked eye. However, although Tsing Hui had the scarlet dragon sword in his hand, the divine weapon in Lai Wuyang's hand was not weak either. Moreover, his scarlet yang true qi was derived from the Black Sun scripture, and its attacking power was inferior to Lai Wuyang's golden crow true qi. In addition, Lai Wuyang's own true qi had reached perfection. When the two collided, Tsing Hui's figure was actually pushed back by the sword. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the two spirit refining cultivators attacked, instantly killing the bird that Tsing Hui was sitting on. If not for Tsing Hui lowering his body, falling from such a high speed would inevitably expose his flying sword. The quality of this Jin Qi is already worthy of being called a divine grade Jin Qi, and its characteristics are quite similar to my golden crow Jin Qi. It seems that you came for my great sun golden crow spell. Perhaps even the Lord of Mysterious Ming Island was bewitched by you to come and kill me. Unfortunately, although the Lord of Mysterious Ming Island and I were both injured, I still have at least 70% of my cultivation. If you think that you can defeat me with your divine grade Jin Qi, you are very wrong. Lai Wuyang's sword had probed Tsing Hui's depth. His expression immediately sank, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Capture him alive first. I want to know how he awakened his divine beast bloodline. If we can't capture him, then kill him. Yes. After receiving the order, the two spirit refining cultivators shouted and charged towards Tsing Hui at the same time. Young master, no matter what, nothing can happen to you. Quickly leave first, I'll cover you. At this time, Yan Huang rode on the flying beast and followed closely behind. With a shout, he jumped down from the flying beast and charged towards the two spirit refining cultivators. Hearing Yan Huang's shout, Tsing Hui seemed to understand Yan Huang's plan and immediately turned around to run without hesitation. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Lai Wuyang glanced at him and saw that Yan Huang's strength was only a so-so. She immediately flew and chased after Tsing Hui, who was rushing towards the flying beast. However, out of caution, she did not use her full strength. At least she did not use her full speed when fighting with the Lord of Profound Ming Island. So cautious. Tsing Hui secretly thought. His figure took a step forward and leaped into the air, as if he was about to leap onto the back of the bird and escape. Since you're here, stay here for me. After confirming that Tsing Hui was really planning to escape, Lai Wuyang's eyes flashed. In the next moment, a sword light exploded, like a meteor piercing through the sky, brazenly attacking. Flying sword. It was actually a flying sword. The flying sword that he had never used when fighting with the Lord of Profound Ming Island. Qi. The speed of the flying sword was extremely fast. Even though Tsing Hui was focused and on guard, he was still only able to turn his body sideways. The sword light directly slashed across his shoulder, bringing with it a cluster of dark red blood. However, in the next moment, Tsing Hui suddenly realized something. The target of the flying sword that Lai Wuyang shot out was not him, but Flying Beast. That flying beast. She wanted to kill all of his and Yan Huang's flying beasts, trap the two of them on this volcanic island, and then slowly deal with them. Flying sword, this should be your last life-saving method, right? Tsing Hui's eyes flashed. Flying sword? He had one too. Buzz buzz. Sword intent erupted. A powerful sword intent that was not inferior to that of a Spirit Qi Unity Realm expert rose. The flying sword in his personal space shot out brazenly, flying past in a flash and fiercely slashing at Lai Wuyang's flying sword. Chapter 95. Bang! Flames burst forth. Flying swords were extremely precious. Not to mention Spirit and Qi Unity Realm cultivators, even some Qingming Realm cultivators would find it hard to have one each. Thus, although Lai Wuyang had a flying sword, it was the same as Tsing Hui's Qingxian sword, a high-grade rank 4 flying sword. The two flying swords were of the same quality, but the Qingxian sword still had the upper hand when it slashed at Lai Wuyang's rank 4 flying sword. Flames burst forth, and the two flying swords' spirituality was damaged at the same time. However, Lai Wuyang's flying sword's spirituality was obviously more damaged than Xing Hui's Qingxian sword by a level. "My flying sword!" Feeling the attack on his flying sword, Lai Wuyang exclaimed. At the same time, he was in disbelief. You actually have a flying sword too? Cultivating divine rank true qi and holding a flying sword, who exactly are you? Ah! At this time, one of the two spirit refining realm guards who was fighting with Yan Huang suddenly screamed. Yan Huang relied on his high-grade rank 4 armor and exchanged injuries with him, killing one of them. Since he went all out, he naturally could not hide his divine rank aura qi. Damn it, a spirit refining realm cultivator who cultivated divine rank aura qi. Lai Wuyang quickly took out a bell and rang it. This was to summon Lai Ping to return at full speed. However, what she did not know was that Lai Ping's right-hand man had already been killed by Xing Hui not long ago. Lai Wuyang did not say any nonsense about the consequences of offending the Jin Wu religion. She went all out to summon Lai Ping. Although the strength Yan Huang displayed was extremely strong, even stronger than her who was injured, she believed that when Lai Ping returned, it would be more than enough to deal with him. What she needed to do now was to quickly kill this true qi cultivator who had a flying sword and cultivated divine grade qi. Otherwise, after Yan Huang killed the other spirit refining realm guard, he would use his flying sword to harass her. She, Lai Wuyang, might not be able to hold on until Lai Ping returns. Kill! With a bellow, Lai Wuyang arrived before Qing Su with lightning speed. Waves of fire surged from the high-grade 4th-class god's sword in her hand, and with a swing of her sword, she actually created a mini tsunami composed of pure fire. 9 heavens of raging flames. However, just when Lai Wuyang thought that Xing Hui was the weakest link and would be swiftly defeated by her, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from Xing Hui's body. For a moment, a terrifying aura that wasn't inferior to Island Master Xian Ming's aura rose from this young man's body. It seemed as if his cultivation had been forcefully raised by a certain profound secret technique. Clang! Sword roar, dragon roar. A blazing heat wave that was far more terrifying than her 9 heavens of raging flames instantly surrounded the divine sword in the hands of the man in front of her. Wherever the sword pointed, the void distorted. A tremor that came from the depths of her soul shocked her so much that she couldn't help but widen her eyes. Not good. Lai Wuyang sensed danger and retreated explosively. But it was still too late. Surging heat waves erupted wantonly like a meteor that had suddenly charged into the atmosphere, and it exploded into countless flames and fragments. The flames and fragments ceaselessly rubbed against the air and once again gave birth to even more violent flames that formed a boundless pressure that warped space, and it smashed onto Lai Wuyang's body with an unstoppable force. Rumble. The ground that had already been swept by the flames exploded. Sand flew up and countless flames sputtered in all directions. The scene was as if a meteor had really fallen into the ground, causing a shocking explosion. Miss! The guard that was in charge of protecting Lai Wuyang exclaimed. His face was filled with shock. You still dare to be distracted, die! Yan Huang roared and brazenly struck the chest of the guard with lightning speed. The rank 2 defensive armor in front of him as well as his protective aura qi were shattered by this punch. The explosive force penetrated the chest of the guard, creating a bloody hole with a diameter of half a qi. Who? On another battlefield, Xing Hui suddenly waved his hand. The smoke and flames that filled the air quickly dissipated. Xiao! The sound of something breaking through the air arrived. Just as the smoke and flames were about to dissipate, Lai Wuyang's flying sword burst out and entered the flames. Want to leave? Realizing what Lai Wuyang wanted to do, Xing Hui suddenly stepped forward. His qi surged and the crimson dragon sword slashed towards the direction of the flying sword. Wherever the sword's edge passed, the flames in front of it were directly split apart. Pang! A muffled sound spread out from the flames. In the next moment, Lai Wuyang's figure flew out from the flames like a cannonball. While in the air, she spat out a mouthful of blood. However, although Lai Wuyang was a woman, her willpower was extremely tenacious. She forcefully suppressed her injuries and without waiting for her figure to land, her right hand fiercely slammed on the ground. Borrowing the force, she soared into the air and stepped on the flying sword. In an instant, she broke through the air and flew away. You think you can leave? Tsing Hui's sword intent in his spiritual world shook. Leaping up, the Qingxian sword shot forward and steadily landed under his feet. His qi and sword intent combined with the Qingxian sword. In an instant, his speed broke through the sound barrier. Facing the qi wave, he chased after Lai Wuyang. Young master, seeing Tsing Hui and Lai Wuyang quickly leave on their flying swords, Yan Huang shouted. In the end, he could only turn into a helpless expression. Sweeping a glance at the chaotic volcanic island, Yan Huang muttered to himself for a moment and quickly tidied up the battlefield. Lai Wuyang was the daughter of the Jin Wu religion's guardian, Lai Ji. Moreover, she was extremely doted on by Lai Ji. This point could be seen from the fact that she cultivated divine-grade qi and was bestowed with a protective talisman, a 4th-level high-grade divine weapon, a 4th-level high-grade armor, a 4th-level high-grade flying sword, and even the eternal blazing sunday. With so many treasures protecting her, not to mention an overlord of the 4 realms of immortality, even if an ordinary giant of the green netherworld realm came, they could die under Lai Wuyang's eternal blazing sunday. At present, Lai Wuyang was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Dying in the hands of Tsing Hui was the only outcome. Once Lai Wuyang died, Lai Ji would definitely be furious. It was even possible that he would directly bring people to kill his way to the sea. In order to avoid leaving traces that would lead people to Glazed Island, he still had to slightly disguise the battlefield. Lai Wuyang flew with her sword in the air, her speed exploding to the extreme. Unfortunately, she was already injured. Later on, she was heavily injured by Tsing Hui's Burning Heaven 13 Sword's 3rd sword, Starfire Flowing Light. In addition, the flying sword's spirituality was also injured by the Qingxian sword. Even if she had the advantage of qi, the distance between the two was still slowly closing. Seeing that she couldn't get rid of Tsing Hui, Lai Wuyang gritted her teeth and directly activated her secret technique. Ignoring the damage to her body, her speed increased sharply. Seeing this, Tsing Hui also had to increase the consumption of his sword intent and qi to increase his speed. 400 kilometers, 450 kilometers, 500 kilometers, 550 kilometers. The speed of the two's flight had reached a limit that they could reach. In a breath's time, they had already rushed out an unknown number of meters. This kind of chase and escape lasted for nearly an hour. Even if Lai Wuyang continuously stimulated her potential, she still couldn't get rid of Tsing Hui's pursuit. Instead, she was in a desperate situation. Who exactly are you? Do you have to fight to the death with our Jin Wu religion? Lai Wuyang's pretty face was deathly pale. Tsing Hui didn't answer. His qi volume was inferior to Lai Wuyang's, and chasing until now had also consumed a serious amount. I know you've come for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. I can give you the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, but you have to promise to let me live. Otherwise, to avoid falling into your hands and being tortured and interrogated, I'd rather commit suicide before being captured by you than give you the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. It had to be said that if Lai Wuyang really would rather die than be captured alive by him, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique might really be missed by him. Moreover, his true need was for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique and not to kill Lai Wuyang. If Lai Wuyang was really willing to hand over the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, then Lai Wuyang's life and death wouldn't make any difference to him. Lai Wuyang observed his expression and instantly understood that Tsing Hui had indeed come for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. In order to save her life, she immediately said, "As long as you can swear on your own cultivation that you won't pursue me and guarantee that you won't spread the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, I can hand over the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that I possess. How can I believe that what you say is true, that the Great Sun Golden Crow technique is true? A trace of humiliation flashed through Lai Wuyang's eyes, but she still said without the slightest hesitation, I'm willing to circulate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in front of you. You can send your qi into my body to investigate my true qi circulation method. Allowing another's true qi to enter her body, the circulation method would naturally be exposed. But in this way, her life would naturally be controlled by Tsing Hui. At that time, if Tsing Hui wanted to kill her, she wouldn't have the slightest ability to resist. All right. Tsing Hui immediately agreed. When we came here, I saw a small island. Let's stay there first. All right. Lai Wuyang said as she followed Tsing Hui. Very quickly, they arrived at a small island that was less than half a kilometer in diameter that they had passed by a few dozen kilometers away. Tsing Hui immediately swore. After he swore, Lai Wuyang also didn't hesitate to verbalize the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Tsing Hui memorized the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and immediately said, circulate your true qi. Lai Wuyang didn't refute. She just sat down cross-legged in front of Tsing Hui and circulated the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Tsing Hui injected a stream of true qi into Lai Wuyang's body, and carefully sensed Lai Wuyang's true qi circulation method. After the true qi entered her body, the true qi circulation in Lai Wuyang's body no longer had any secrets in front of Tsing Hui. Lai Wuyang even took the initiative to guide Tsing Hui's true qi to fuse with her true qi. Secretly, it was similar to the true qi circulation method, causing the true qi between the two to become purer and stronger. This kind of true qi dual cultivation method lasted for a moment, and Tsing Hui suddenly felt a trace of abnormality. Even though his true qi had become purer and stronger, his control over his true qi had gradually decreased. It was as if his true qi was about to be controlled by Lai Wuyang. Not good. Sensing the abnormality, Tsing Hui's face suddenly changed, and he was about to withdraw his true qi. However, at the same time that he withdrew his true qi, Lai Wuyang actually followed the path that Tsing Hui withdrew his true qi and suddenly injected her true qi into Tsing Hui's body. She seemed to be relying on this special dual cultivation method to completely devour the true qi in his body in one go. Chapter 96. Lai Wuyang. Tsing Hui roared. His powerful mental power, which had already reached the 46th order, immediately rushed into his body. In his mental world, he visualized the image of a torch dragon, circulating his true qi with all his might. In an instant, he forcefully took back control of his true qi. You can actually break free. Lai Wuyang's expression changed. Her reaction couldn't be described as slow. After Tsing Hui broke free from her true qi dual cultivation technique, the true qi in his body exploded, turning into a surging heat wave. Tsing Hui also understood what would happen if Lai Wuyang wantonly detonated her true qi in his body. Just as she detonated this blazing true qi, he abruptly sent out a palm strike. Pure physical strength slammed into Lai Wuyang's body, causing her to spit out a mouthful of blood and fly backwards. Puchi. After sending Lai Wuyang flying with a single palm strike, the true qi that Lai Wuyang left in his body completely went out of control. For a moment, Tsing Hui truly experienced what it meant to burn all 5 internal organs. It was as if there was a raging flame inside his body, burning crazily, capable of turning him into ashes in an instant. If it was an ordinary person, their body would undoubtedly be filled with blazing and chaotic true qi. However, Tsing Hui had the powerful recovery ability of the Son of Chaos, awakened the same Golden Crow bloodline as Lai Wuyang, and obtained the cultivation technique of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Furthermore, he had just completed a dual cultivation with Lai Wuyang, so the true qi of the two had a trace of compatibility. Under these circumstances, he actually used his own true qi to surround and suppress the chaotic true qi that remained in Lai Wuyang's body. Even though there was a terrifying flame burning inside his body, it didn't completely explode and explode into nothing. However, before Tsinghui could concentrate on suppressing the chaotic flame in his body, Lai Wuyang, who had been sent flying by his palm strike, actually forcefully suppressed her injuries. She stood up shakily, her starry eyes emitting a dense chill. Raising her sword, she charged straight at Tsinghui. The situation of being the meat on the chopping block was instantly reversed. Tsinghui gave Lai Wuyang a deep look. No wonder Lai Wuyang was willing to let him infuse his true qi into her body to investigate the circulation path of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. She had already planned this. He didn't expect Lai Wuyang to turn the tables under these circumstances. However, when he saw Lai Wuyang approaching with a sword in hand, Tsinghui abruptly slapped the ground and forcefully stomped his feet. In the next moment, his figure had already shot out like an arrow that had left the bow, directly charging into the sea. The true qi in his body went berserk. He needed to use 99% of his mind to control the true qi to encircle and fuse with Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow true qi. He had no time to use his sword to escape. Bastard! Lai Wuyang looked at Tsinghui, who had suddenly charged into the depths of the sea, and gritted his teeth. Don't let me know who you are. Otherwise, I will definitely tear you to shreds. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to have aggravated his injuries. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out once again. His body swayed and he almost fell down. Feeling the terrifying injuries in her body that were about to collapse, Lai Wuyang no longer cared about chasing Tsinghui into the sea to kill him. She hurriedly took out a life-saving sacred medicine that Shakyamuni Lai Ji had left for her, swallowed it, and closed her eyes to adjust her breathing. Tsinghui, who had rushed into the bottom of the sea, also took out the water-splitting pearl at the first moment. His body quickly sank to the bottom of the sea. In order to prevent Lai Wuyang from chasing him into the sea, he even divided a part of his mind and tried his best to swim forward. After swimming for less than a moment, a whale-horn fish about 10 meters long appeared in front of him. This was a medium-sized fish with a gentle temperament that lived in the ocean. Seeing that the blazing true qi in his body could not be suppressed and was about to explode, Tsinghui did not dare to waste any more time. He suddenly shot forward and directly rushed into the whale-horn fish's body through its mouth. He restrained his aura and lay dormant. The whale-horn fish was only 12 meters long and was not a big fish. When Tsinghui entered its body, it was naturally irritable. It quickly swam toward the sea area where it thought it was safe, far away from the island. And Tsinghui himself did not care about the life and death of this whale-horn fish. He used all his mind to circulate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to condense true qi. He wanted to use this technique to wear down Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow true qi. Time quietly passed in this environment where one was fighting against the heavens. In the void, a huge warship was braving the wind and breaking the waves, slowly moving forward. Compared to Lai Wuyang's warship, this warship was not as magnificent. But in terms of area, it was 5 to 6 times larger than ordinary warships. Sailing at low altitude, it was like a large island, casting a huge shadow on the surface of the sea. Miss, we will reach our Dragon Whale Kingdom in another 2 days. This trip to Shaoyang Sea City brought us, the Dantai family, a total of 3,200 spirit stones. And of these 3,200 spirit stones, more than 600 spirit stones will go to Mississippi. When we return, the city lord will definitely be very happy. At this moment, on the deck of the warship, an old man with spirit refining cultivation and a young girl dressed as a maid stood respectfully behind a sweet-looking woman, chatting about something. The woman wore a jade hairpin on her head, and her soft long hair casually flowed down her shoulders, casually fluttering in front of her light blue dress. Her waist was tied with a white silk belt, perfectly accentuating her slender figure. On her white jade-like wrist was a pair of sparkling jade bracelets, making her look even more noble and elegant. Uncle Wu is overpraising me. I actually only followed Uncle Wu and the other big brothers to gain experience. Not only did I not help everyone, but I also made everyone worry and tired. Mrs. Luck is amazing. This time, you actually managed to find a rank 3 spirit beast corpse and sold it for 600 spirit stones. It's much better than the previous times. Unfortunately, our overseas resources are lacking. If Miss was born in the resource-rich inland, you would definitely be able to rely on your luck to rise rapidly and bring our Dantai family's power to greater heights. The old man and the maid beside the woman interjected. Inland we are 40,000 kilometers away from the inland. The journey is long. Even with the sea map, a round trip would take half a month. Such a long journey in the chaotic overseas is too easy to change. I'm afraid father will not allow me to go. The woman seemed to yearn for the inland. Unfortunately, the sea map was precious. Without reaching a certain level, one might not be able to come into contact with the inland waterway. Without a waterway, if one were to rashly enter the territory of a powerful sea beast, the outcome would be very tragic. In fact, there's nothing good about the inland. It's said that it's completely occupied by 10 powerful sections. Cultivators who are unwilling to join the 10 great sects have no way out at all. How can it compare to the carefree life overseas? The old man Uncle Wu shook his head and said. The woman in blue nodded slightly and was about to say something, but at this moment, she glanced down from the corner of her eyes and said in surprise, there is someone. N. The old man Uncle Wu's eyes flashed as if he was using a secret technique. Very quickly, he saw the figure on the surface of the sea. There really is someone. Miss, look. That person's clothes seem to be the style of the inland people. The maid-like girl beside the old man suddenly said. That's true. Lower the bow, let's go over and take a look. The woman in blue's eyes lit up and quickly ordered. He seems to be unconscious, but it seems that he still has vitality. Miss, be careful. The inland people have always been hostile to us overseas people. Moreover, this place is 40,000 kilometers away from the inland. For an inland person to appear here is really suspicious. In my opinion, it is better to ignore it. Whether he is an inland person or not, won't we know once we go over and take a look? During this period of time, I have read a lot of information about the inland. If we save him, maybe we can ask him about the details of the inland. The old man saw that his miss was unable to hold back her curiosity and could only say, Miss, wait for a while. I will observe for a while before we decide. After saying that, he had already summoned his flying beast and flew towards the figure on the surface of the water. When he saw that the unconscious figure seemed to be only in the true chi realm and the chi in the body was very unstable, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. Even if someone in the true chi realm had bad intentions, with his spirit refining realm cultivation, it was more than enough to suppress them. Very soon, the old man scooped up the figure. As he carefully examined him, he quickly gave a conclusion. This person's injuries are extremely severe. There's even a strand of scorching true chi that constantly damages his organs. However, I don't know if it's because of his natural talent or because he's ingested other heavenly resources, but his vitality is extremely tenacious. The scorching true chi has formed a wondrous balance with his recovery ability. As a result, although his injuries can't be healed, they can't be fatal. Uncle Wu, can you save him? The old man glanced at the man. The blazing chi in his body is extremely pure. It is very likely to belong to the level of holy chi. I am unable to resolve it. However, if Miss really wants to save him, you can try using your chi. Miss, you have awakened the bloodline of the winged dragon and cultivated the heavy water chi. If you can use water to extinguish the fire, it is possible to help him subdue the blazing chi in his body and let him recover. That's good, I will try. The blue-dressed woman said. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the man's back. A pure heavy water chi was injected into the man's body and rushed towards the blazing and overbearing fire attribute chi. As the old man said, as this chi was injected into the man's body, the balance between the blazing chi and the man's recovery ability was suddenly broken. The blazing chi was suppressed, and the man's aura was obviously stronger than before. Ah! The blue-dressed woman's infusion of qi did not last for a moment. She already felt that the black water qi in her body seemed to be ignited by the blazing qi. She exclaimed and quickly withdrew her right hand. "What's wrong, miss?" The old man quickly came to the front of the blue-dressed woman with a nervous face. It's nothing, the blue-dressed woman shook her head again, and then her gaze fell on the man. "The blazing qi in his body is really overbearing. My heavy water qi was actually almost heated and burned by that blazing qi. Even your heavy water qi can't do anything to the blazing qi in his body. Could it be that the qi has reached the divine grade? We have not heard of anyone overseas who has cultivated the fire attribute divine grade qi. It seems that the person who injured him must be from the inland." When the old man heard the blue-dressed woman's words, he was slightly relieved. The inland people were too far away from the overseas forces. Since the man in front of them was injured by the inland powerhouse, they did not have to worry about any trouble if they saved him. Just as the old man and the blue-dressed woman were guessing the man's identity and who exactly left that blazing qi behind, the balance was broken. The man, whose recovery ability gradually gained the upper hand, was constantly strengthening his aura. When his aura was strong to a certain extent, he suddenly opened his eyes. Chapter 97. Xing Hui could vaguely feel that he had entered the body of a horned whale, and was shuttling at the bottom of the sea along with this painful sea beast. Unfortunately, he had put all his energy into suppressing the golden crow real qi that could erupt at any time in his body, and had no time to care about other things. He only vaguely knew that this horned whale finally couldn't withstand the burning qi that escaped from his body from time to time after more than 10 days, and died from internal combustion. After death, the horned whale's body floated for a moment, and was dismembered by other sea fish. During this time, some sea fish wanted to attack him, but they couldn't do anything to him because he was wearing a second-level inner armor. He didn't know how long he floated like this. He was extremely tired, and at the same time, the golden crow real qi in his body had been suppressed to the extreme. In addition, he was saved by the woman in the blue dress, and was injected with a high-quality real qi, which suppressed the golden crow real qi in one fell swoop. Finally, he was able to divert his attention and open his eyes. He woke up. Seeing Xing Hui open his eyes, the maid beside the woman in the blue dress was quite curious. "Miss, please wait a moment." Without waiting for the woman in the blue dress to speak, the old man Uncle Wu had already stepped forward. "May I know who you are, and why are you floating on the sea?" "Huh?" When the old man asked, he keenly felt that there seemed to be an invisible force entangling his mind, giving him an illusion that his secret was being peeped at. Xing Hui's heart moved, and he understood that this might be some means of the old man to detect the truth of his words. He didn't hide it and answered, "I am a first-level individual cultivator, and by chance, I got a good cultivation method. Until now, I don't belong to any sect or sect. Not long ago, I had a conflict with a core disciple of the Jin Wu religion, and was seriously injured by him. I had to escape into the sea with the help of the sea currents. Today, by chance, I got the help of this young lady, and was able to suppress the true qi that the core disciple of the Jin Wu religion left in my body." After hearing Xing Hui's words, a dark light flashed in the depths of the old man's eyes. When he found out that he was a rogue cultivator who had offended a successor disciple of the Jin Wu religion and was severely injured and stranded here, there was a trace of sympathy in his eyes. The vigilance on his face was also reduced compared to before. "So you are a successor disciple of the Jin Wu religion? That overbearing and blazing genuine qi, could it be the golden crow genuine qi at the divine level?" "It is indeed the golden crow vital energy." Golden crow vital energy. When the blue-dressed woman saw Xing Hui nodding, she could not help but exclaim, "I've read many books. Among the top 10 saint sects in the inner land, the golden crow true qi is the most overbearing. Even the limitless true qi of the limitless sword sect, the purple night true qi of the Shinshao sword sect, the three lives true qi of the creation mystical gate, and the chaos origin true qi of the Hunyuan heaven sect can't compare to the golden crow true qi. It's really incredible that this young master can still survive after being struck by the Golden Crow true chi. My physique is stronger than that of ordinary people, so I can barely block the Golden Crow true chi. The old man nodded. It's not easy for individual cultivators to survive, especially in the inner land. The top 10 saint sects dominate the world, and ordinary cultivators have almost no space to survive. Now you've offended a true disciple of the Jin Wu religion, and a core true disciple who has cultivated divine-grade vital energy. If you return to the inner land and expose your identity, I'm afraid it will be extremely dangerous. After the old man finished speaking, he led the blue-dressed woman forward. This is our family's young lady, Dan Taiyu, the daughter of Dan Tating, the governor of Beihai City in the Dragon Whale Country. If you don't mind, why don't you follow us back to the Dragon Whale Country to have a rest? Xing Hui greets Miss Dan Tai. At this moment, Xing Hui still needed time to completely suppress the Golden Crow true chi in his body. He even had a bolder plan, which was to use the remaining Golden Crow true chi in Lai Wuyang's body to make the Golden Crow bloodline cross the awakening realm and rush to the true chi realm of the second stage of the immortal life, which was the same as the Burning Sun Sutra. At this time, he needed a place to cultivate in seclusion. Then I'm sorry to disturb you. Dan Taiyu smiled slightly and looked at Xing Hui curiously with her bright starry eyes. It's okay. When you have time to rest, you can tell me about the local customs of the inner land. Okay. Xiao Xiao, arrange a room for Prince Xing Hui. Yes. The maid beside Dan Taiyu responded respectfully and gestured with her hand. Prince Xing Hui, please come with me. While speaking, she had already led Xing Hui to the rest area of the ship. Miss, what this man said just now is not false. He is indeed an individual cultivator without any sect and was injured by a core true disciple of the Jin Wu religion. As soon as Xing Hui left, the old man, Uncle Wu, immediately reported to Dan Taiyu. I naturally trust the information obtained by Wu Yu, who is connected to heaven and man. Uncle Wu has awakened the bloodline of the spiritual beast Yun Di, which is a branch of the sacred beast Di Ting. It is best at investigating the changes in people's words and distinguishing between truth and falsehood. If Uncle Wu says he is an individual cultivator, then he is an individual cultivator. Miss, you flatter me. Wu Yu smiled slightly. Compared to the sacred beast Di Ting that can truly understand all things in the world and distinguish between the truth and falsehood of all living things, I am still far from it. However, what this person said should be true. According to my judgment, although he has just formed his true chi, he should not have cultivated for more than 30 years. Moreover, his talent is exceptional, being able to resist divine-grade true chi and not die. His potential must be extraordinary. Now that he has offended a core true disciple of the Jin Wu religion who has cultivated the Golden Crow true chi, he will definitely not be able to stay in the inner land and can only choose to settle down overseas to avoid the sharp edge. Miss, you just saved his life. If we can recruit him, he will definitely become a great help to our North Sea city in the future. Then, wouldn't this be considered as taking advantage of your kindness? Not really, we are just taking what we need. In fact, I can see that this person called Xing Hui also wants to find a place to settle down. Perhaps he wants to heal his injuries as soon as possible, or perhaps he wants to conceal his identity to avoid being hunted down by the core true disciple of the Jin Wu religion. Otherwise, he would not have accepted Miss' invitation to go to North Sea City. At this point, Wu Yu's expression became slightly serious. Miss, you have never been to the inner land, so you don't know the influence of the 10 great sacred sects in the inner land. You also don't know the power of a core true disciple who has cultivated the Golden Crow true chi. For such a genius disciple, if he said that he can command a spirit and chi unity realm expert, I would believe it. I think that if I were an individual cultivator without any background like him, after offending a core true disciple who has cultivated the Golden Crow true chi, I am afraid that I would not dare to set foot in the inner land for the rest of my life. Command a spirit and chi unity realm expert. Dan Taiyu suddenly exclaimed. The Dragon Whale Nation was a top-notch island in this sea region, and the Dragon Whale Nation King was a top-notch figure ranked 633 on the Divine Dragon list. He once had an astonishing battle record of killing 2 great experts of the divine Qi unification realm. However, the Dragon Whale Nation King only had 3 experts of the divine Qi unification realm under his command. Moreover, the relationship between these 2 experts and the Dragon Whale Nation King was more of a friend than a subordinate. Let alone an expert of the true energy realm, even the Dragon Whale Nation King's eldest son couldn't order these 3 experts around. Now, according to Wu Yu, a true disciple of the Jin Wu religion in the true Qi unity realm could actually command a spirit and Qi unity realm expert. Miss, it's very difficult for you to cultivate holy grade true Qi. It's completely a coincidence. There's almost no hope for you to cultivate holy grade Gang Qi. Therefore, Master didn't spend too much effort on you. However, in fact, anyone with holy grade true Qi has a high status even in the 10 great saint sects, not to mention divine grade true Qi. Wu Yu shook his head regretfully. Telling Dan Taiyu too much about the mysteries of holy grade true Qi and holy grade Gang Qi would only increase her worries. He then said, in short, if this Tsing Hui has a little self-awareness, he should know that he can't go back to the inland. However, he just came to the sea and needs to join a force to integrate into it. With his true Qi unity realm cultivation, those spirit and Qi unity realm experts might not take him seriously. He won't be put in an important position even if he joins them. Our Beihai city is the best choice for him. Dan Taiyu nodded, not fully understanding. If Prince Tsing Hui really wants to join us, I'll send an invitation. Ha, then I'll wait for Miss Good News. Under the guidance of the maid Xiao Xiao, Tsing Hui was quickly arranged to a 30-square-meter room with a rather good location. Even in the spirit refining realm, true Qi realm, even in the sea where there were many strong cultivators, he could be considered a first-rate expert. Not to mention joining a spirit and Qi unity realm expert, even if he joined a spirit and Qi unity realm expert, it wouldn't be difficult for him to become a guard captain. The Golden Crow true Qi is really overbearing. It seems that if I want to completely refine it for myself, I'll need at least 1 or 2 months. Tsing Hui felt a headache as he felt the Golden Crow true Qi in his body that was constantly restless under his suppression. He didn't expect that at the last moment, he would be tricked by Lai Wuyang and almost die. However, Tsing Hui didn't have much hatred towards Lai Wuyang for the series of troubles brought about by him. After all, he was the one who robbed Lai Wuyang first, and Lai Wuyang was the one who passively counterattacked. For him to end up like this, he could only blame himself for not being careful enough. It was impossible to refine the Golden Crow true Qi in a short period of time, but it wasn't impossible for him to temporarily recover from his injuries. Tsing Hui separated a part of his consciousness and placed it on his primal chaos level. His primal chaos level had already risen from the previous 16th to 17th. In other words, he had actually drifted in the sea for more than a month. His primal chaos level had reached 17th. Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the various special abilities of the Son of Primal Chaos one by one, and finally landed on the recovery characteristic. Talent in the way of the sword, personal space, appraisal, and other special abilities could display unimaginable abilities when they reached a high enough level. Take the personal space for example. After reaching the 10th level, not only could it extend for tens of millions of li, it could also accommodate living things. At that time, the space would no longer be a space, but a world. A world that spanned tens of millions of li. There was also appraisal. After reaching the 10th level, not only could he detect a person's strength, origin, and weakness, even the cultivation method and the circulation route of the cultivation method would be exposed in front of him. If he really raised his appraisal to the 10th level, he wouldn't need to think of ways to obtain the Great Sun Golden Crow technique on Lai Wuyang at all. He only needed to meet her face to face to understand the circulation method of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique within the 10th level. Of course, the prerequisite was that she had the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that could be cultivated to the 10th level. These were all divine abilities. Unfortunately, the most effective one for him was still the recovery characteristic. He focused slightly, and in the next moment, his recovery characteristic directly climbed from the 3rd level to the 4th level. With the 4th level recovery characteristic, his body instantly started to recover at a speed that far exceeded the destruction caused by the Golden Crow True Chi. Chapter 98. Whoosh! Xing Hui appeared in the personal space of the leader of Dawn, Ling Yu. Seeing Xing Hui, Yan Huang, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately looked at him. However, they didn't talk at all. They just nodded politely like ordinary friends. Your Excellency Pak Hui, I heard that you and Sword Master Bai Heng have a follow-up cultivation method other than the awakening method? And it's a follow-up cultivation method for the fire element. Are you willing to sell it? Xing Hui showed his face and was about to leave with Yan Huang to discuss matters in his personal space when a voice sounded. Qing Su looked over, and a woman who seemed to be in her 30s walked over. She gave off a graceful and noble aura. Long Quebec. She was one of the 3 Unity of Spirit Realm Masters in Dawn. I'm sorry, Your Excellency Long Ke should know that any exchange of techniques requires a vow not to spread it. Xing Hui said to Long Quebec, it's just a normal vow. It's not a chaos vow. Nowadays, swearing between cultivators is as simple as eating and drinking. How many people will actually abide by it? Long Ke waved her hand dismissively. I'm very interested in that technique. Why don't you name a price? As long as the price is reasonable, I'm willing to buy it regardless of whether I can cultivate it or not. Your Excellency Long Ke, since I've already made a vow, I naturally won't spread it. This is a matter of honor. Please forgive me. Xing Hui shook his head. Long Ke frowned. Do you think I can't afford it? Pak Hui, as far as I know, you're in the awakening realm. How about a 3rd level high-grade god weapon? With a 3rd level high-grade god weapon, you can even fight against a true energy realm master. As for those in the awakening realm, you can do whatever you want. This isn't a matter of price. Before Xing Hui could finish, Long Ke spoke again. A 4th level low-grade god weapon. I said, a 4th level mid-grade god weapon. Your Excellency Pak Hui, don't push your luck. It's just a set of cultivation methods. I'm just asking you to repeat it. There's no loss to you at all. Long Ke said with an unfriendly expression. Xing Hui shook his head and stopped talking. Yan Huang, who was at the side, saw that Long Ke's expression had suddenly turned extremely ugly. In order to prevent Xing Hui from completely offending this Dawn Deacon, he hurriedly stepped forward to be the peacemaker. Lord Long Ke, there is a reason why Her Excellency Pak Hui is unwilling to go against the oath she made. It is said that the 3 realms of longevity, the spirit refining realm condenses the will of the martial Tao, and the spirit Qi of the 4 realms of longevity, have requirements on one's temperament. If one's temperament is not up to standard or if there is a flaw in one's state of mind, the cultivation of these 2 realms will become extremely difficult. Furthermore, this flaw will continue to accumulate. The so-called flaw in one's state of mind will affect one's breakthrough is just an excuse for one's lack of accumulation. If one uses divine grade Jin Qi to condense saint grade Gang Qi, it won't be difficult even if one has a flaw in one's state of mind. It wouldn't be difficult to fuse one's mental energy with the spiritual grade stellar energy to fuse the spiritual grade stellar energy with the divine Qi. As for the saint realm, don't you think you're thinking too far ahead? Long Ke glanced coldly at Yan Huang, clearly blaming him for being a busybody. If it were an ordinary person, they would naturally shrink back at this time, but Yan Huang, Your Excellency Long Ke, you're wrong. Any cultivator has the right to pursue a higher realm. If Her Excellency Pak Hui wants to condense divine grade Jin Qi and divine grade Gang Qi, but at the crucial moment because of a flaw in one's state of mind, one's slip will cause everlasting sorrow. Divine grade Jin Qi and divine grade Gang Qi aren't that easy to cultivate. Don't be too ambitious. It's more important to grasp the present. Long Ke couldn't be bothered with Yan Huang anymore and turned to Xing Hui. A mid-grade tier 4 divine weapon and a low-grade tier 4 armor. This is my final price. Bai Su, tell me if you're selling or not. Although Yan Huang knew that Long Ke was definitely dissatisfied with him, he could only brace himself and say, since Her Excellency Pak Hui has the Taoist rhyme to exchange for this kind of technique, she might not lack a few divine weapons. Yan Huang, this is none of your business. Long Ke suddenly turned around and glared at Yan Huang sternly. Or are you saying that you're relying on the small glazed island behind you to criticize me? Yan Huang's expression changed drastically when he heard Long Ke reveal his identity in the real world. The rest of the people in the hall also looked at Yan Huang and Long Ke in surprise. Your Excellency Long Ke, you've gone too far. At this time, Xing Yao, who was also talking to Tsang Song in the hall, suddenly stood up and said sternly, don't speak nonsense. At this time, Long Ke realized that she had lost her composure. Secretly investigating the other party's identity in the real world had always been a big taboo in a chaos organization. Although there were indeed people doing it in the dark, no one dared to put it on the table. Once everyone's identity in the real world was exposed, it was very likely to cause a series of serious consequences. For example, 5 years ago, the Trader of Dawn, Dragon Shadow, had not only revealed the location of the trade, causing the many Sons of Chaos in Dawn to be captured in one fell swoop, but he had also secretly investigated the true identities of those Sons of Chaos, captured them alive, and sold them to organizations that specialized in capturing Sons of Chaos alive or important figures who needed to turn themselves into Sons of Chaos. Just one person like that caused Dawn's vitality to be greatly damaged. The original size of more than 60 Sons of Chaos dropped to 34 in one go. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. Long Ke had no choice but to express her attitude. Everyone, please don't leak the news you just heard. Otherwise, you'll be a traitor to Dawn. Xing Yao glanced at the 6 people in the hall and said with a serious expression. The 6 people hurriedly responded, we understand. I didn't hear anything today. I swear to the heavens that I won't leak a single word of what I heard today. Xing Yao nodded. At the same time, he glanced at Blazing Glory, who had an ugly expression. After hesitating for a moment, he said softly, I'll inform the leader of this matter and get her to talk to a few members. If you're really worried, you can only go somewhere else. Blazing Glory nodded slightly. He knew that this was all Dawn could do. It didn't have the ability to restrain its internal members. At this time, Long Ke couldn't stay any longer. She said to Tsing Hui, 1 mid-grade tier 4 god weapon and 1 low-grade tier 4 armor. This is my final price. Go back and consider it carefully. After saying that, she left Ling Yu's personal space. After Long Ke left, Tsing Hui didn't stay in Ling Yu's personal space for long. After leaving, he returned to his personal space and pulled Blazing Glory over. Young master. As Blazing Glory spoke, there was a hint of worry in his expression. Don't worry. Long Ke won't attack Glazed Island for the time being. Tsing Hui said. Huh? Yan Huang was slightly startled. Then, as if he had thought of something, he nodded slightly. If Long Ke is really targeting me and Colored Glass Island, she wouldn't be so stupid as to expose our location. That may be the case, but you still have to be careful. The people of Dawn know about your chaos rank, right? I know. Yan Huang nodded with an ugly expression. I understand. I will leave the matters of Colored Glass Island to the others for the time being. It's a pity that our Dawn is only a small chaos organization. If it were a large chaos organization, such a phenomenon would almost never occur. The trust between the Sons of Chaos even surpasses that of ordinary friends. Huh? Why? There are sword wielders in large chaos organizations. They are equivalent to the Sex Punishers. Every sword wielder is a high-ranking Son of Chaos above Chaos rank 25 who has cultivated the incarnation technique. Any Son of Chaos who joins a large chaos organization must leave behind a mental wave in advance. If this Son of Chaos violates the rules of this large chaos organization, he will be pursued by the sword wielders. The power that the incarnation technique can transmit is limited. What if it can't do anything to that traitor? The sword wielders will personally pursue him across the sea. Xing Hui nodded slightly at this. A son of chaos at chaos rank 25 was usually at the peak of the Saint Realm. Such a person could go anywhere in the world. If you have the chance in the future, join a large chaos organization. If young master can cultivate divine-grade stellar energy, you can use Miss Nalan's connections to join Celestial Dome. It's said that Celestial Dome treats its members very well. Immortal level sword, fist, spear, and saber techniques are free to read, and internal members trade at a very low price. If you participate in some of Celestial Dome's special operations and complete missions, you can even earn contribution points and precious rewards. Joining Celestial Dome has a better future than joining the 10 sacred sects. I'll find a chance to learn more about it, Xing Hui said. Suppressing his worry about Colored Glass Island being exposed, Yan Huang said, "Young master, you've been gone for more than a month. Did you run into some sort of trouble?" "The trouble has been resolved. I've obtained the first 3 levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique and plan to find a place to seclude myself for a period of time. I called you here to inform you. Congratulations, young master. Given young master's abilities, once you cultivate the first 3 levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, cultivate divine-grade stellar energy, and supplement it with the might of divine arts, you'll be able to move unhindered across the sea." Divine-grade stellar energy, Xing Hui nodded. "I hope I can cultivate it." The stellar energy level was, in truth, condensing true qi to the extreme. If one wanted to refine qi into stellar energy, the most important thing was to use a powerful martial will to condense true qi into a single body and unleash it in an explosive attack to achieve an indestructible effect. It was just like how condensing water into ice required an extremely low temperature. Xing Hui himself had already condensed sword intent at the blood transformation realm. After years of constant polishing, his mental strength had reached level 46, and his sword intent was on the verge of reaching small success. It was not difficult for him to condense stellar energy. The difference was, whether he had a 100% chance of condensing divine-grade stellar energy. Chapter 99. If you are in danger, send me a message. If I can help, I will, Xing Hui said slowly. Yan Huang, who was congratulating him, was shocked. Xing Hui was the master, and he was the servant. Now that he was in trouble, Xing Hui could stay out of it, but he actually promised, willing to help. Yan Huang took a deep breath, and said with a solemn expression, "Rest assured, young master. If I really need your help, I will ask for your help." Xing Hui nodded. Yan Huang's real identity being discovered was due to his own carelessness, but being exposed had something to do with him. However, it wasn't entirely a bad thing to have his thoughts exposed. An enemy in the dark was often more terrifying than an enemy in the open. After exchanging some air with Yan Huang, Xing Hui's consciousness returned to the ship. After slightly restraining his mind, the mysterious changes of the first 3 layers of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique flashed through his mind. After carefully comprehending the second layer of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, he slowly focused his mind on the Golden Crow true qi in Lai Wuyang's body. When Lai Wuyang wanted to harm Xing Hui, he poured all his true qi into Xing Hui's body in an attempt to devour the true qi in Xing Hui's body. The amount of true qi possessed by a true qi realm expert was no small matter. Even if a lot of it was lost, Xing Hui estimated that after completely refining it, breaking through to the true qi realm wouldn't be a problem. If he was lucky, it was also very likely that he would catch up later, and step into the initial stage of true qi realm before Qiyang true qi. However, everything had to wait until he was in his peak state. Now, he continued to use his sword intent to study the Golden Crow true qi, preparing to cultivate to the second layer of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in one go. While he was studying the Golden Crow vital energy, the huge ship gradually sailed into a large island that was several times larger than the Colored Glaze Island and stopped at a city airport not far from the coastline. They had arrived at Dragon Whale Country's North Sea City. North Sea City's spaceport was also a huge pillar that was 300 meters tall and 10 meters in diameter. Every 30 meters, 8 platforms extended out from the pillar. There were a total of 6 floors, and 48 warships could be docked. At this moment, 14 warships were docked. As the daughter of the city lord, Dan Taiyu was piloting the city lord's mansion's battleship and was naturally docked at the highest level. Taking advantage of the terrain, Xinghui glanced down at North Sea City below. This city guarded the North Sea, resisting pirates and vicious beasts from the sea. Its construction was extremely grand, its walls towering into the clouds, and there were a large number of anti-air defense turrets several dozen meters tall. If any warships approached without permission, the anti-air defense turrets would blast those warships into pieces. In addition, there were also many strong cultivators in the city. Xinghui sensed the aura of 5 to 6 spirit refining cultivators. This scale was not much inferior to Colored Glaze Island. One city was equivalent to half of Colored Glaze Island. There were a total of 10 cities similar to North Sea City. From this, one could see how huge the power of the Dragon Whale country was. Xianming Island's lord is ranked more than 800 on the Divine Dragon list. Mobilizing more than 20 spirit refining cultivators in one go is already considered a large scale. The Dragon Whale Island's lord is ranked above Xianming Island's lord at 633. It is reasonable to have such power. Xinghui thought. He now had a direct understanding of the number of strong cultivators in the North Sea. There were already close to 100 spirit refining cultivators in the island. No wonder the 10 great sects dared to attack as long as it was not a Law King or Hall Master level cultivator. When the ship docked, there was already an elegant young man with a spirit refining realm cultivator and a group of guards waiting there. Second brother. Seeing the man, Dan Taiyu stepped forward and bowed. Third sister, you're back. How was it? Was Shaoyang Sea City fun? Shaoyang Sea City is indeed worthy of being the largest sea city in our generation. There are many kinds of goods and countless merchants from different islands. It is even more prosperous than the Dragon Whale City that I went to before. This time, it was really an eye-opener. Dan Taiyu smiled. Where's big sister? Still at Sea Wind Fort. In this month, those sea beasts attacked like crazy. All right, you must be tired from the journey. Go back and have a good rest. I'll take over the unloading of the goods. As Dan Taiyu spoke, she seemed to have thought of something and quickly waved to Xinghui. Second brother, this is Xinghui, a rogue cultivator. He offended a core disciple of the Jin Wu religion and was heavily injured. He escaped into the sea and was coincidentally saved by us. He wants to stay in our North Sea City for a while. Offended a core disciple of the Jin Wu religion. The man looked at Xinghui and glanced at Wu Yu, who was behind Dan Taiyu. After Wu Yu secretly nodded his head, he carefully sized up Xinghui. Seeing that Xinghui was young but had already reached the true Qi realm, he smiled and said, "This one is Dan Taiying. Your Excellency Xinghui has already reached the true Qi realm at such a young age. Truly extraordinary. In our North Sea City, a true Qi realm cultivator is qualified to be a guest elder. How about I make the decision to invite Your Excellency Xinghui to be a guest elder of our North Sea City?" Second brother, when Dan Taiyu saw that Dan Taiying had proposed to make Xinghui a guest elder of North Sea City as soon as they met, as if he was trying to force her to repay his kindness, she immediately called out in dissatisfaction. Dan Taiying glanced at Dan Taiyu with a look that said, "I have my own plans," before turning to Xinghui. A guest elder of North Sea City only needs to lend a helping hand when North Sea City is in trouble. Normally, you can come and go as you please without any hindrance. Moreover, once you become a guest elder of North Sea City, there will be people to take care of your basic needs. Every month, you can enter my North Sea City's library to flip through a book. These books not only contain true Qi refinement methods and aura Qi refinement methods, but also sword techniques and fist techniques that can only be cultivated in the true Qi realm and aura refining realm. Xinghui pondered for a moment. Now that Colored Glass Island had been exposed, there was a chance that other Sons of Chaos might be spying on him. It was not good for him to stay for long. Now that he was overseas, he really had no place to stay. He nodded slightly and said, "All right." "Ha, Sir Tsing-hui will definitely not regret his choice. Please." Dan Taiying laughed loudly and gestured for Tsing-hui to enter North Sea City. "I originally had the intention of letting second young master pull Tsing-hui into our North Sea City. Tsing-hui is originally from the mainland and has a clean background. After offending a core disciple of the Jin Wu religion, he has no hope of returning to the mainland. There is no need to worry about him. In addition, he has cultivated to the true Qi realm in a short 30 years. As long as we nurture him well, there is a high chance that he will step into the aura refining realm in the future. This kind of aura refining realm expert that we nurture is much more credible than those who join us halfway. Especially this person's talent is extraordinary, and it is very likely that he has awakened spirit grade true Qi." Wu Yu was very appreciative of Dan Taiying's approach. What was the use of a favor? It was better to turn it into tangible benefits that could be seen with the naked eye as soon as possible. Dan Taiying brought Dan Taiyu, Tsing-hui, and the others into North Sea City. Not long after, in the study of City Lord Dan Tating, a middle-aged man with a cultivation of the spirit-refining realm walked in. "City Lord, eldest young miss is asking for help again. 6 days ago, didn't we just allocate a batch of spirit origin stones that can be used as materials for the giant spirit origin cannons? It has been used up so quickly. In less than 2 months, it will be the once-in-a-decade treasure offering assembly. The spirit stones in the city have already been used up in order to purchase the Sky Underworld stone. In the next year, many resources will be used up." Dan Tating frowned and said. "In fact, other than requesting for resources, eldest young miss also hopes that we will send experts. She even hopes that City Lord, our Dragon Eagle squad will be dispatched." The Dragon Eagle squad was the most elite squad in North Sea City. It was made up of 30 true Qi realm experts who had cultivated spirit rank Shin Qi and 4 captains. Among them, the captain was Dan Tating, who was the City Lord of North Sea City. If this squad were to go all out, it would be equivalent to half of North Sea City's strength. Ian Air never exaggerates. It seems that the situation over there is quite serious. Strange. It's not like there's a disaster at sea. Why are these sea beasts dauntlessly attacking Sea Breeze Fort? Recently, there have been many underwater volcanic eruptions. Could it be related to this phenomenon? Why would an underwater volcanic eruption cause these sea beasts to attack our North Sea City? Moreover, it's the Sea Breeze Fort under North Sea City's jurisdiction. This is illogical. Dan Tating muttered to himself for a moment and ordered, "Send the Dragon Eagle squad. In addition, Eagle Wing, go and investigate what is going on with these sea beasts. I keep feeling that something is amiss." "Yes." The male Eagle Wing responded and quickly retreated. At the same time that the Eagle Wing retreated, Wu Yu also came to the study. "Master." "Wu Yu, you're here. Sit." "Master, this is the Space Underworld Stone. Due to the pretense of going to Shaoyang Sea City to carry out the transaction, there were no mishaps along the way. I reckon that no one knows that this Space Underworld stone ended up in our North Sea City's hands." "Good, the king's cultivation has already reached a bottleneck. If he wants to break through again, he will have to be like a kun transforming into a peng, soaring into the heavens. The energy contained within the Space Underworld stone is extremely effective for cultivating similar techniques. With this Space Underworld stone, in the treasure presentation assembly 2 months later, our North Sea City may not be able to rank first and have the qualifications to propose conditions to the king. However, if we rank in the top 3 and are exempt from all taxes for 10 years, there is a great hope." The old man smiled and nodded. In fact, this journey was surprisingly smooth. Not only was the transaction easily completed, we also encountered the corpse of a 3rd-rank spirit beast. I reckon that it was destroyed by the eruption of an underwater volcano. A 3rd-rank spirit beast's corpse allowed us to obtain 600 spirit stones for free. Even a third-rank spirit beast's corpse could be found. It seems that you, is indeed our Dantai family's lucky star, ha ha ha. When Dan Tating heard this news, he couldn't help but smile with gratification. Wu Yu also revealed a smile. In addition to encountering a spirit beast's corpse, the young miss also recruited a talent for the mayor. A young talent who is not even 30 years old and has cultivated spirit-grade chi. Oh. Dan Tating might not pay much attention to a true energy realm cultivator, but if this true energy realm cultivator was only 30 years old and had cultivated spirit-grade chi, then it was enough to attract people's attention. Wu Yu did not hesitate and spoke about the origin of this person. Dan Tating understood that Wu Yu had awakened a bloodline talent and nodded slightly. If that's the case, there is no harm in carefully observing him. If his temperament is not bad, our North Sea city can put in some effort to nurture him into the spirit-refining realm. This subordinate understands. Chapter 100. The inland is actually so dangerous? There are also a large number of ferocious beasts and spirit beasts. Of course. There are sea beasts in the ocean, and similarly, there are powerful ferocious beasts, spirit beasts, and even sacred beasts in the inland. However, no matter how powerful the sacred beasts are, they will definitely be hunted down by humans once they appear. Thus, these terrifying creatures that are powerful enough to destroy cities can only hide deep in the mountains and forests. Xing Hui and Dan Taiyu were talking about the daily happenings on the inland in the guests' courtyard in North Sea City's City Lord's mansion. The maid, Xiao Xiao, stood by his side. Her pretty little face was also filled with curiosity and yearning for the inland world. Even sacred beasts don't dare to appear on the inland. Some semi-holy beasts with the bloodline of holy beasts can set off a monstrous calamity in our seas, let alone a true holy beast. Once a holy beast descends, it usually means the destruction of an island and the misfortune of millions of creatures. Are there no demon hunters specialized in dealing with these spirit beasts, half-sacred beasts, and sacred beasts? According to what I know, the blood essence of sacred beasts purified from half-sacred beasts can often be sold for sky-high prices, let alone sacred beasts. How do you hunt them? These sea beasts can hide in the ocean once they encounter danger, but humans can't even use 30% of their strength in the ocean. In addition, there are countless ferocious beasts, half-sacred beasts, spirit beasts, half-sacred beasts, and sacred beasts in the ocean. The people living on the islands will be thankful if they don't get attacked by the sea beasts, let alone going deep into the ocean to hunt them. When Tan Taiyu said this, her expression turned slightly gloomy. In fact, every once in a while, a few years, or a few decades, there will be incidents of sea beasts attacking islands in the sea. The islands that can't withstand the attacks will be destroyed by the sea beasts. No one is spared. It's the same for our Dragon Whale Island. Father specially built the Sea Breeze Fortress near the sea. It's responsible for killing the sea beasts that come ashore. Every year, we have to pay the price of thousands of lives to defend the Sea Breeze Fortress. On the continent, humans were the overlords, but in the ocean, the various sea beasts were the overlords. The precarious living environment was the reason why people weren't willing to go out to sea easily. Young miss, it's time for you to practice swordsmanship. Xing Hui and Dan Taiyu were about to continue their conversation when a voice sounded from outside the courtyard. Dan Taiyu had no choice but to stand up. Xing Hui, I'll come and chat with you next time. Sure. Xing Hui nodded. Dan Taiyu and Xiao Xiao left with the guards while Xing Hui summarized the information he obtained from his conversation with Dan Taiyu. There was detailed information about daily life overseas. It was much more accurate to obtain this information from others than to read it in books. However, the Golden Crow primary energy within Lai Wuyang's body is now under my complete control. It is time to refine this power into the second level of the Great Sun Golden Crow formula and cultivate out my longevity-type primary energy. After saying this, Xing Hui ordered the servants arranged by the city lord to hang up a "Do Not Disturb" sign. His figure flashed and he was already in the cultivation room in the courtyard. He had already thoroughly comprehended the Great Sun Golden Crow formula during this period of time. As the Golden Crow divine soul in his spiritual world suddenly became dazzling, the majestic blood and chi in his body boiled at the same time, like lava that had been ignited. When the power of this blood and chi was heated to the extreme, a cluster of flames suddenly ignited from the center of the boiling blood and chi. For a moment, the feeling of the 5 internal organs burning once again filled his body from the inside out. However, Xing Hui had already adapted to the torment of the Golden Crow primary energy during this period of time. Even though this newly born Golden Crow primary energy was emitting surging heat in his body, it still didn't have any effect on his body. Not only that, as this primary energy was born under the burning of the majestic blood and chi, Xing Hui immediately controlled the primary energy that belonged to Lai Wuyang in his body to surge towards the newly born primary energy, so as to prevent this newly ignited primary energy fire from extinguishing. This was the most common problem that all those who broke through to the true chi realm faced. Although the boiling of blood and chi could be cultivated to the true chi realm, if the blood and chi weren't thick enough, the primary energy would be fleeting. Not only would the accumulated blood and chi be destroyed, it would also damage the foundation. In the future, if one wanted to accumulate enough blood and chi to break through to the true chi realm, they would have to pay several times, or even 10 times the price. However, Xing Hui, who had Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow primary energy, didn't have this disadvantage at all. As long as the first primary energy was formed, he only needed to continuously integrate Lai Wuyang's primary energy into his own primary energy. Naturally, he would be able to strengthen his primary energy and stabilize his primary energy realm. As time passed, the primary energy in Xing Hui's body continued to strengthen. Finally, when all of Lai Wuyang's primary energy had been integrated into his newly born primary energy, his primary energy suddenly circulated throughout his body. It was as if he had overtaken Lai Wuyang's primary energy from the Torch Sun scripture and stepped into the realm of minor accomplishment. However, in the end, his primary energy had been integrated with a large amount of primary energy that didn't belong to him. Even if this primary energy had undergone dual cultivation with him, it still needed to be polished before it could be used completely. Therefore, in the next few days, he didn't leave his room and continuously refined his primary energy. By the time he had completely stabilized the Golden Crow primary energy and completely turned it into his own, it had already been a month since he had arrived in North Sea City. Xing Hui used the Primal Chaos Temple to observe his current state. Attack level 37, defense level 32, speed level 35, spirit level 46. In terms of attributes, it was even a level higher than Blazing Glory. However, primary energy was different from aura energy. In a real battle, the difference between primary energy and aura energy would usually require 1 or 2 points of average attributes to make up for it. Next is to cultivate the Golden Crow primary energy and Scarlet Sun primary energy to perfection. In this realm, if one doesn't care about the quality of their primary energy, they can just absorb some fire elemental energy and reach perfection in 1 or 2 months. However, at that time, the aura energy cultivated will definitely drop to Saint grade. Therefore, one can either rely on the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to absorb the sun's true fire day and night, accumulating over time, one can reach perfection in 50 to 60 years. Another method, high-quality fire spirit stones, Golden Crow blood essence, Great Sun essence and other natural treasures, Great Sun essence, the Jin Wu religion had it. In this religion, there were people who made magic tools to absorb the sun's true energy and refine it into essence for the upper echelons of the religion to cultivate. Lai Wuyang's age was slightly younger than Nalan Fei's. The reason he was able to cultivate his divine grade primary energy to perfection so quickly was because of the Great Sun essence. However, he didn't have the ability to take the Great Sun essence yet. As for the Golden Crow blood essence, there was no need to think about it. Then, he could only start with the high-quality fire spirit stones. Xing Hui, is Xing Hui King here? At this moment, a voice came from outside the door. Su Guowei. Xing Hui responded, tidied up, and left the cultivation room. Outside the door, the handsome guard Su Zhongming, who was wearing leather armor, was already waiting with Tsing Hui's maids. Su Guowei, this is Tsing Hui King. The city lord has ordered all guest elders to head to Sea Breeze Fort and assist the garrison in resisting the sea beasts. Tsing Hui was a little surprised. I have already reported to the city lord's mansion that I need 2 months to cultivate in seclusion. Right now, only half of the time has passed. If the city lord really wants to gather all the guest elders to head to Sea Breeze Fort to resist the sea beasts, shouldn't he start with the other guest elders? Su Zhongming knew that Tsing Hui had been cultivating in seclusion for the past few days. He smiled bitterly. Tsing Hui King, don't you feel that the guest area is especially quiet today? Not only the guest area, but the entire city lord's mansion seems to be more deserted. Hearing Su Zhongming's words, Tsing Hui immediately sensed in the entire city lord's mansion, he sensed that there was only one spirit refining cultivator. Even the aura of true qi cultivators could be counted with one's fingers. What happened? In the past month, the sea beasts have been attacking Sea Breeze Fort crazily. The scale is not inferior to the sea beast tide. The city lord has sent reinforcements time and time again, but they were unable to turn the situation around. Currently, not only have all the guest elders headed to Sea Breeze Fort to resist the sea beasts, even the city lord himself has personally gone to the front line to command the situation. However, half a day ago, the city lord sent an order to mobilize everyone except for the most basic guards to head to Sea Breeze Fort. Tsing Hui King is part of the last batch. Sea Beast Tide. Tsing Hui had learned about the terror of the sea beast tide from his conversation with Dan Taiyu. He immediately asked, the sea beast tide has erupted. It's getting restless. The other cities along the coast have been attacked, but it's not considered an outbreak. However, the sea beast's attacks on Sea Breeze Fort are especially strong. The number of immortal stage level 3 sea beasts and spirit beasts in other cities can be counted on one's fingers. However, the pressure that Sea Breeze Fort is facing is several times greater than the other forts. This is why Sea Breeze Fort is in danger. Su Zhongming did not explain further. Tsing Hui King, please prepare to head to the spaceport immediately. I'll inform the others. In half an hour, the warship will depart. Tsing Hui nodded and did not ask further. Most of his belongings were in his personal storage. After putting on a rank 3 divine weapon to decorate his appearance, he headed straight to the spaceport. At this moment, there were only 6 warships left in the spaceport. Looking down from the spaceport, it was obvious that the atmosphere in Beihai City had become more tense. Even the number of pedestrians on the streets had decreased by a lot. When Tsing Hui stepped onto the waiting warship, there were already 300 to 400 people on it. Among these people, most of them were in the mortal realm. There were less than 100 people in the awakening realm and true qi realm. There was only one person in the spirit refining realm. It was Wu Yu, the manager who had followed beside Dan Taiyu previously. Seeing Tsing Hui, Wu Yu only nodded at him. He seemed to have a lot on his mind. The sea beast tide was a huge disaster for any island. Not to mention Beihai City, even forces like Dragon Whale Island had been destroyed by the sea beast tide more than once. Seeing the sea beast's strange movements, no one dared to confirm whether this was a sign that the sea beast tide was about to erupt. The warship waited for half an hour. With a slight rumble, it quickly rushed into the void and shuttled through the clouds. After shuttling for more than an hour, a huge fort built on the coast appeared in front of them. But at this moment, the majesty of the fortress couldn't attract the attention of the people on the warship at all. The eyes of the 300 to 400 people on the warship immediately fell on the countless sea beasts surrounding the fortress and their faces turned pale in an instant. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.